But you have to do the roll call,
Oh.
sis.
You gotta call it to order
I
though.
thought he did call it. I call this meeting to order on July 8th, 2025 at 7:01 PM.
Okay, do
Okay.
roll call. We have Rachel Stewart,
Present.
Melissa Wilson,
Here.
Dan Scow.
Present.
All people are present.
All right. Mr. Brett, first in line.
Up here or podium?
You know, if you want to have a seat, you're more than welcome to, but we just need to make sure we get you on the microphone.
Hello, Brett Bennett. So we submitted this in June, previewed it prior to that. DJ signed off on building with no further plan review required. I did take care of the comments, some housekeeping. I emailed those to Gina. I don't know,
I think we got those.
I
I think
didn't,
we got those in the email.
in an email, yep, and so I can handle it however it needs to be handled. And then, as far as printing, and then, do you have any questions on the site plan?
No, I looked at it today and yesterday.
You want to show it to Sarah?
Oh, did you look at it?
I looked at it
She looked at it
online,
online too.
Brett, those are not updated plans, are they, or are those? the
They are
ones-
not updated with the notes, so the notes were,
The one you have is updated or no?
nope.
Not yet.
It's the same copy as that, so it was, 2021 IRC instead of whatever was on it before. And then,
It had 2018.
2018, right? Yep. And then I think I had 2020 NEC, so I changed it to 2023 on, I think it was on A101.
And you'll get us copies of the notes, make sure we have the good,
Yes, I'll update,
okay,
you know, we're not gonna start next week, so got a little time to update the drawings.
perfect.
But hopefully start this season.
Refresh my memory, what was the issue was that this was off scale to square? It wasn't off the property line, right, was it?
No, it's not off the property line. It's,
It's over the setback.
yeah, it was an existing structure. The town located the house in 2006, let's say, whenever that was.
Correct.
Okay? But I designed it the exact same way you design any remodel addition, except I don't have a contiguous foundation to address the non-conforming language in the land use code.
Right, because the non-conforming language restricts the amount that you can add to it,
That's
correct?
correct. 20% of
Like,
the floor area, the garage exceeds that. Let's say that allow you 300 or 400, the garage is about 600
Right.
plus.
So he just didn't connect them to,
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought it looked good because we addressed the snow storage. And all the lines are marked.
Existing shed, he's.
I mean, it's a 10-foot easement off the property on the shed, so we should be good with that. Because it's under 300,
Yes.
yeah.
And that was a separate shed
Yeah.
affidavit from a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And this is the garage, right? So snow storage is 358 square feet of snow storage, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he has a calculation on there.
I think it looks good.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what you're doing, Brett.
Okay,
I
well,
make a
hopefully-
motion to approve the Brett and Meta Bennett's lot number 27, Grays River Village at 368 Wooden Spur Drive.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Further discussion, just make sure we get the notes notated on the plans that we have for the town. Or
A hard copy.
A hard copy of them,
Yep,
yeah.
I'll update that with Gina.
Perfect. As long
soon
as
I
we
can,
get
yeah.
those, I don't have any problems with this.
Okay.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, ready to rock and
When's
roll?
the barbecue?
Thank you. After the loan's paid off.
Really?
All right. All right, let's see here, next one is Mueller, Michael, and Nikia? Nikia, okay, sorry about that. All right, addition to gable porch. So I have a hard time not having my papers. I have a really hard time with
the
that.
whole packet.
Not the whole packet, but could you have the permit? Can I look at the permit? Is that a possibility?
Do you want the property?
Maybe, let me see if I
site
can.
plan?
Yeah, or even just the, the notes that we have for the, Project?
I don't think I have the application on there. What do you need the notes for?
well,
She
why
likes-
don't you tell me
because she
what we're
wants
doing?
it.
No,
Yeah.
which
No,
notes?
it's not overly.
Go ahead, no, you're good. Do we have a drawing that we can bring up on the big screen?
Yeah,
Right there. I thought there was a drawing.
yeah, it was just a
I
moment
just
ago.
had it.
No, that's not it, that's Brett's.
Brett's, there we go.
There we go, okay, sorry.
You're all right.
Can we go to the site plan? So this is all new, doing this differently, folks. I'm still a little old school, so I do apologize.
So the house was built in the mid-90s, I think, because I understand it before really
Okay.
building codes or inspections were done here, and it was built with a wood foundation.
Okay, a wood foundation, wow.
Yeah, it's been kind of a learning experience, understanding that. The foundation is still structurally sound. I think I probably have another 10 or 15 years left on it, but what I'd like to do is address that before there's a problem.
Yes, sir.
So Billy Esperson will be basically excavating around the house. They'll set jacks on the house to hold it level.
Or in a full
They'll rip
concrete
out the wood
foundation.
foundation, put forms in, and really set this thing structural for, the next 30, 40, 50 years. And then in tandem with that, they'll be able to tie in a gable over the front porch right now.
This is your site plan, right?
No,
No, that's Brett Bennett's.
So his
Okay.
site plan was just a survey.
It just keeps coming up. Okay.
so the other thing that we'll be doing is we'll be tying in a gable off the front right now. The way the snow slides is it comes right over our walkway that walks into the front door.
Correct.
And it's only a matter of time before I get killed trying to shovel that thing
Oh, yeah.
out in the winter. So we'll set a gable over that. We did get a survey done last year to confirm the setback, and I believe we have it's 2 or 3 feet over the setback, but it's within code.
3 feet.
Has Deej taken a look at this?
Yes,
And all of his questions have been answered?
yes.
And the concrete, it's not a part of our purview anymore. Concrete's been stamped
Are
and
you cinder
approved.
blocking it, or are you gonna do?
Concrete,
It'll be
nice.
poured with rebar and,
So I guess we don't need to worry about asking for stamped concrete plans because DJ's got all those. Okay.
There isn't
So
a
where's the
site
site
plan.
I was gonna say, that was my comment about this, was that the only site plan was actually just a survey. And so the drawings that were on page 1 of this document that you were looking at were kind of out of context, you couldn't really see how they relate to the property line.
Oh, this one right here.
Yeah,
Oh, I see, okay.
So it does not actual site.
Well, I mean, it's
Yeah.
not a new construction.
right, I'm not
so-
sure how we dealt with that.
Yeah.
I was just like, well, that was something I noted as I was going through my checklist.
so what is
So is-
just so I understand, what's the concern, or how does the site plan help you understand what we're doing? better?
Probably make sure that your porch is within your setbacks on your property lines.
And so if you look at the survey relative to the distance that the posts show on the plans, it shows that the two match up.
It's,
So
no, that's not what we're asking.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry.
We're looking for the property in
Yeah.
plan with your house on it, with all your property corners, so
Okay.
we can verify that that house is actually sitting inside your building envelope.
Like a
Yeah.
2D rendering, basically, of that.
That, and so, if it was sitting over the building envelope, we then have things that we need to ask you to do.
So
Because-
basically,
Because we're not allowed to give you any approval if you are sitting on somebody else's property, sitting in your setback.
yeah, or not.
You
on-
have things that you have to do before we could come to that. So we don't have that. We can't verify that your house is actually sitting in your building envelope because we don't have that.
Well,
because-
technically, it's already been
The
built.
survey did show that the house was in like a normal location.
Yeah.
It was more that the survey is showing existing conditions, and this is a proposed condition, and we don't know exactly where that's
Where
going
is
to
that?
sit.
No, I absolutely, yeah.
The
that makes
survey,
sense.
it was
Yeah.
part of the packet
It's
that
part
got
of the
sent out, it's
plan.
not part of that.
Yeah, there was a lot of math in there too, I read all
Yeah.
that.
I didn't see any of that.
Was it in the calcs pack?
I believe so.
It was just the one you sent out, you're like, this is the meeting packet for this.
There was like
Yeah, but like the
868
calculation packet
pages.
for him.
Yep, that's the one.
I went through it. I probably missed it.
Yeah, it's the one with all the pencil, all the drawings and the math. I was very fascinated.
This one?
Yeah, only it was pencil
Keep,
drawing. and
keep
math.
going.
Yeah, it's probably down at the bottom.
Yep. But yeah, so we just want to make sure that your new porch and everything and your eaves and everything that you're putting on is within your your property line. That's what we need to pay attention to. So if you can get us a drawing of where your-
Actually, it's,
Yeah, I
it's,
thought this was for the wetlands.
Was it? Okay.
Let's
It's
get
just
that.
not normally what we normally get here, so,
well, who's
There's a
who's
lot of
surveying?
mapping on
there it is.
Gerbil.
I'm sure.
Okay, so when Sherble he'll give you a map, like, it's just a plan map.
All right, Rachel.
Which has got the
Yeah.
property corners.
I thought it was right after the.
I didn't see it.
I didn't see a drawing. I saw the note. or
I saw the
his
notes,
letter.
but I didn't see the plan.
You
I
didn't see
gave
it
you a
wrong.
physical copy of the survey. Would that be in your office?
Oh, gee, it's probably right here.
In the packet. Oh, hey, there it
Is
is.
that you? Nope, that's Eplin. That's Eplin.
Sorry.
Go back. This is yours, and I don't know that I have it. I'm looking.
brought in
See, I know
the
I
survey, and then
I
got-
did see it.
I got 3
but,
copies
yeah.
of the stamped
You
plans as
saw
well.
it, and it was on the packet.
Yeah,
I didn't see it, so
yeah.
I don't know.
All the same.
Do you want me to
letter-
re-email it to you now?
Yeah, sure.
I guess my point is that survey or no survey, like I think there is a survey, but it's not showing the proposed condition, so I don't know if it's meeting our requirements for approving it at this
So
point.
my
right?
understanding, this was before Gina, it was with Christine Wagner when I met with her. You know, what she communicated to me was that if I provided a survey that showed the distance from the front of the house to the setback.
Yes.
And then the engineered plans showed that the posts were within that same distance from the house, that would essentially accomplish the same
And
thing
it-
as the site. But I know things have changed.
No, you're
but
fine.
that was my understanding coming into
So
this.
you are correct. In that letter, it did state that, but we generally, what we usually have is just a white piece of paper with a drawing of where your house is, where your property markers are, and where your porch is gonna sit, and where everything's set on your house.
In Sherble's math
Yeah.
equation, when
He
they
should-
do their
he should be
computer,
able to have that too.
they just hit that button, and it puts out a flat plane map, your boundary corners, your envelope, your house. That's what.
Geez, I think that was on the survey.
Do you? Okay.
I really do.
I think the survey
I-
had all the information that you would expect it to have. My point was just that it's not showing where that porch is, because the porch doesn't exist yet.
So
Correct.
let me, then I must not be on the same page with you then, ma'am, did you see the drawing of the house and everything on the lot? Did you see that drawing? Oh,
Yes.
then I totally missed that one too.
Yeah.
I read it, I read that paperwork
Yeah.
from Sherville and I noticed it didn't say
Like,
that.
I have a different pocket. Like, I swear I saw it.
I found the survey. It says
Okay.
survey in
Yeah,
here.
let's take a look at that and see what that has on it.
Boom, look at that.
There we go,
Is that-
that's what we needed,
Yep, that is what I looked at.
only the rest of it needs to
It's just
come into play.
super slow.
Big monster PDFs.
Yeah, sorry, we're still working on it, we're gonna get you taken care of. So.
Okay, no, it's.
I understand it. We
This is
wanna
my
get
first
this
time
done.
working through it, and it has been like
A challenge.
walking with my eyes closed.
So this is you.
Yes.
All right. So you see how the corners of the house are right up against
Setback.
the setbacks? So your porch is gonna go where? You can just go up there.
Yeah. So it'll be that we measured. So this is the setback here. This is the walkway, and the distances, which are actually measured right in there in terms of how far we can come out.
And this is 25 feet. I know we have 20. Oh, is that 22? I can't read that.
I think street frontage is 25.
It's, one of them is 20 and then they go to
Oh,
20.
there, hey, there it is. It's cleaned up now. Thank you.
Yeah.
So it's 20 feet. So
So
you're-
if you look at the distances from there relative to the plans that you were provided, it shows the distances of the posts from the front of the house, and that falls within these distances.
Okay, that's what we were.
Does that make
looking at.
sense?
Yep.
It does. And again,
Thank you for remembering.
Yeah.
for us not to have and make any mistakes,
That makes sense.
all of that is required to sit on that plan. Your covered porch, your footers should be on that plan.
Just drawn in.
It should be drawn into that plan.
Okay, so I just
that
need to
it's all
send, I
right.
need to send the stamped plans to Sherble and have him fit it into this map.
Just fit it into that and say, that's where it goes.
Yep.
Okay.
And that should be easy enough. I would assume that's easy enough, besides.
Because they shot that, they came and they found your corners, right?
Yeah.
So I'm pretty confident that Sherble can put that on a map.
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident that he can put the two posts that's gonna hold, is it 2 posts, is it 3, what do you
Two
have?
posts.
Just 2 posts?
2 posts, yeah, it shows it right
He
there.
can put that in and build and draw the lines for that overhang, then everybody is,
Yep.
nobody's confused. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does, it's just different from what was originally communicated to me. So,
According to the land use development code, if you are gonna build something, you have to bring us a site plan and all that has to be on it. So it's not, this is how it's been done, we're just helping you get.
no, I get it, yeah. Okay, I'll go to Sherwood, we'll get that taken care of.
Beautiful.
Other than that, it looks good.
Yeah.
Do we wanna,
It's there,
yeah,
but it's not on the site plan.
yeah. No, good catch, yeah. Okay,
So how do you want to handle it?
So we'll table it.
when were you wanting to start?
I'd like to get it done this year if at all.
Oh, of course, yeah. That's, our next
But you gotta
meeting's
do the
not till
foundation
August.
first, right? You're gonna
Yeah.
deal with that first.
Well, it would all be at one, because they would pour the concrete for the porch
Oh,
at the same time, so it would be.
How deep is the wood foundation?
It's within code, was it 3 feet? Is it 36 inches?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm just
I was
asking.
talking with Billy. Billy said that it's currently within code and they would just replace it with concrete, so whatever that depth is.
so when were you, back to my original question, then, when were you anticipating on starting doing all this? Like, next week? Have we got until August?
I haven't tried to nail down Billy on the general contractor on a specific date, because I didn't know how long this process
Okay,
would take, so,
okay.
yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna move the table till we get the site plan.
Okay, I have a motion on the table. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? This is kind of a challenging area because everything looks like it's the way it should be and within it where it's supposed to be. Depending on, with you not sure on having a excavation contractor, or having everybody come over and do the work, it makes it a little bit of a challenge. Our next meeting is not until August. So if you're not gonna start doing this until our next meeting in August, then I'm gonna say I'm okay with tabling it. If it's gonna constrain you to where
Well,
you're,
he's so close to the front end of the house that they're gonna do the foundation of the house first before they do those piers.
right, but with this permit, doesn't that also include doing the concrete foundation and everything as well? So that's what I mean, it kinda,
There isn't any, the land use development code is clear.
it is clear, yes, you
So-
are correct.
We've tabled it.
And we're still discussing it, Dan, I understand. I understand that there's a time constraint that we want to try to get this done this year, but our next meeting's not until August, so hopefully that will give you enough time to have everything else ready to rock and roll, and we can sign you off and ready to go.
Would it be possible to get the green light to do the foundation work? And then, because the item in question is the gable, right?
You'd have to do 2 different permits.
Unless you wanted to do a contingent permit, which is something I know you guys are.
Nothing like bureaucracy, is there?
I agree.
I'll align with what you want to do. Yeah, that's fine.
I mean, if we're redoing the foundation, is it how did you handle that permit? What's it
Well-
labeled under?
That would probably be a minor construction. But here's the thing, because he wants to do both of them, there was no point in having him do 2 permits.
Yeah.
It was all 1 permit.
Yeah,
So,
and why would you want to pay for 2 permits?
yeah, I mean, and the truth of the matter is yeah, exactly. If it was like one where you're calculating it by square footage, it wouldn't make a difference, but with this one, it does make a difference.
I mean, could we approve it with contingencies rather than fully table?
Even, okay, so how about this? I mean, are you comfortable that if I can get the site plans done by August, that it'll be a green light, and
Yeah.
we'll be good to go?
Absolutely.
Okay, so maybe what I do then is I say, hey, Billy, let's shoot for the second week of August to
I
do
think
all
that's
of this,
When's
because
our
that,
next meeting?
August 8th, I think.
Yeah. I don't think that, our only hangup is the site plan, that is it.
Yeah.
Everything else, DJ's approved it, everything's ready to roll, it just, we want just to make sure that that's set properly
August
on your
12th
property.
is the next.
August 12th? Okay. So that's just makes it a little bit of a challenge for you.
How'd they run the sewer and water through that, underneath?
Yeah, the water access is right in front of the house, wherever the site.
No,
plan
but
is.
going into the house, how'd they, I've never seen, the wood foundation stuff is, I've seen it, I've never done one, but how'd they, does your sewer line go through the wood foundation?
Yeah, the wood foundation is nothing but like kind of 2x4s or 2x6s that are just, you've got vertical and then
Just-
one in the middle, so there's space in the middle of it. where
Oh,
all
so you
the-
probably-
Like a
all the
freeway.
utilities
Just
are-
60 in the
Okay.
center.
Yeah, no.
Let-
Yeah,
That's a great conversation to have over.
you're welcome to come check it out. There's not a whole lot of them left.
It doesn't
No,
sound like it.
they're leaving.
Yeah.
So, we have a motion on the table, we have second. I've expressed my concerns. All in favor for tabling this until August 12th? Are you comfortable with that? Will you be able to get everything
Sounds
ready
like
to
I
roll?
don't have much of a choice. Yeah.
Okay. All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Okay.
I'm sorry, man. All right, next one, tabled items. Ms. Sherry Eplin. All right, new single-family residence.
You were here before, right?
Yes.
They were tabled.
We were tabled 2 months ago.
Why were we tabled 2 weeks ago? I knew I left my book out for a reason.
It was a septic issue.
Yeah, it was, they have septic shown on the plan, but not dimensioned or properly like engineered.
Oh, yeah, they didn't have the engineer.
Do we have those in hand, Miss Gina?
Yes, we do. Got the final authorization
that's
back from them
okay.
there, so it's the Presby system there.
Yep.
Let me see where else I have here. There's the DEQ letter saying they're good to go.
Okay. I did read
Beautiful.
you all through that, yep.
And then they got the new site
yeah.
plan
Do we have the
there.
new drawings?
Yes, I do.
Perfect.
Yeah,
So you'll have to pass them down. I only made one.
looks good to me.
Big pages.
And learning. They want big pages.
Well done.
Yep, perfect. There's a leach field, septic tank, 1,000-gallon tank, perfect. Rock and roll.
Yeah, I think Dan's concern was with the engineer system, making sure that it was on the site plan properly.
Yeah.
Yep. Works for me.
Yeah, I thought everything looked good.
Yeah.
All right,
Any other notes that we had from DJ?
other fees, everything's been paid up, everything's good?
They're good.
Okay. I'll entertain the motion.
I'll make a motion to approve, R1 0425-0001.
I have a motion on the table. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye. Go to work. I like those easy ones.
I appreciate it.
You.
We appreciate it, pardon me.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You bet.
everyone.
All right, Mr. Linford, how are we making out with that?
Just waiting.
Oh, geez, I didn't see you sneak in. Sorry, boss.
I didn't see him either. I was like, he's not here.
What did we end up doing with this? Do we determine whether or not he should get a special use permit? How did this end up?
I just got it.
We just had it pulled up too. I read it earlier.
Yeah, there was a letter.
It was just the, like, I think you wanted to have, like, Sherb will come out and,
Yep.
have a map of the lines
Yep,
specifically.
your property
where-
lines, yep.
Yeah, so I have have that.
Yep.
Have
I read
everything
that.
drawn out of the,
That was the plat map we had before.
yeah,
Yep.
that's the survey plat map, but I have pictures, photographs with lines drawn.
Yep,
So that shows you that one line's the property line.
yep,
And then the easement, that's just showing, I think you guys wanted us to see the distance of,
The black line there coming across.
yeah, so like, that's 16 feet by 48 feet by 14 feet. So this is.
This right here.
yep.
Yeah, I mean, even part of my actual sign's actually
Yeah.
on the city easement.
Oh, okay,
So,
yep.
because he marked the line here, and then, I don't know if I have it clear up here to the end of the road, but, so this part here is the city easement that goes like this.
Okay,
So, trying to add this parking lot and then just
Right.
permission to be able to pave to the road.
Okay.
So basically, you're looking for an encroachment.
Yes, yep, so I filled out an encroachment permit, have that filled out.
So this is the thing that we've discussed internally a little bit, that I think there's a difference between an encroachment permit, which is I'm gonna do some work on the encroachment for a limited period of time and be done. But this is gonna be a permanent feature on it, so it would be an encroachment agreement, which the council actually has to approve.
Correct. We don't have any.
So you can make a recommendation saying, yeah, we think you should, or no, we don't think you should, but ultimately it's going to be up to council if they want
Up to the
it.
town council.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
we just need to push it on to the town council.
Yeah,
Now,
but it
let's
does
have-
say you have to make it a
Discussion,
recommendation, so that's why it's here.
So.
And then I should have some photos, like I have drawn out of my plan for parking lines and stuff like that, so you guys can at least see.
Oh, I think that was in there, but I think.
Well,
go
I
far
think
enough.
that the LUDC was specific on approach into a city right of way. And that the city right of way, he has a dimension that he has to follow, and it's in the land use development. He's got an approach. And it was last time we were here talking, I think it's two things. I think he needs a special use and an encroachment. Because
I think it's a special use if he's trying to drive onto the road.
the special use is to go against the land use development code where it says he only has so much approach in his drive. Because now he would have that much of approach in.
But he's not trying to go all the way to the road.
You're not anymore trying to go all the way to the
No, I'm
road?
trying to, I'm trying to pave to the road.
Yeah.
Oh, you are, okay.
But what I'm, it doesn't make any sense to leave, because right
No,
now I have
It doesn't.
I have a huge divot, this is an eyesore, snow removal,
Yeah.
safety, it just makes no sense.
It's a pain in the butt.
And I'm not, I can have, for example, there's many instances in the city right now where the parking is, because I think one of the concerns maybe you may be having is you don't want people to back clear out into the
Correct.
road.
That's been a general
Right.
consensus, yes, sir.
Right, and so, there's many instances in Alpine where it's already like that, like the Baker Star Valley, Subway, Compass Real Estate, the whole entire Ace Hardware parking situation. So there's many instances where it's already like.
But they're off the highway. It's not even that's not a dedicated road.
This is off the highway.
Yeah,
Sure,
This is not on the highway.
That's not on the
This is
highway, it's on
this
the-
is like a subdivision with very little traffic.
Yeah.
And so when people pull out here and they back up, because right now my employees are already parking here anyway. And so when they back out like this, and then they go forward. So my plan was to draw lines, so if you go to the Conoco next to Rollins, you can see they have lines driven where you're not supposed to drive across. Right?
Yeah.
we all laugh.
You could mark, right across here, I could mark, have lines drawn, specifying where, access to
So
my.
what about putting in a curb of sorts?
I thought about that, it's snow removal.
Yeah, snow removal.
So when you come through.
Yeah.
Maybe if
Okay.
it was inverted. it
I hear what
wouldn't
you're
be
saying.
bad.
Yeah, if we lived in Arizona, yeah. But right here, you've got piles of snow, and so when they come plow the snow, I want all this really cleanable.
Yeah, it'll be easier to push
Yeah,
it.
They're pushing all the snow
It'll be
this
pushed
way
off,
into the
yeah.
back of my property.
Yeah, I hear what you're
That would
saying.
make it a lot easier for
So
plowing.
it just doesn't make any common sense.
Yeah.
I could put a sign, I could put signs up specifying, I don't know if you guys have any ideas, but that's,
well, our purview is site, based on land use development. According to the land use development, there isn't anything that we can help him with there. We can make a recommendation to the town council to review his application for special use and,
Yeah, you could recommend that he gets a special use, or you could recommend an encroachment permit, but both of those are ultimately town council decisions.
Correct.
So it's kind of what you guys
and
think
you
would be the
may
best.
get one, you may get another, or you may not get either one. Unfortunately, that's just the way the system is set up. I totally understand where you're at, trust me. I get that it doesn't make any sense.
Do you have the ordinance?
But-
I do. I have the special use permit, not the ordinance, yeah.
yeah, so I filled out I don't know what I looked at the special use permit, That doesn't make any sense either.
Yeah, I
Modify
feel like it's more of an encroachment.
Because you're, special use permit, you've got to send letters to all the neighbors. You have, I mean, it's a.
Well, you are in a subdivision,
Yeah, but
right? So whatever happens there, the subdivision's gonna vote on it.
they already have. So I had, like, I'm part of the HOA. Before I even started this whole process, I had to submit the application with the HOA.
And what'd they say?
Yeah, I said, fine. So like, it's, what I.
They've given us those letters?
I don't know if I have that letter. Do you have?
I can send it to you.
Yeah, and that's fine. Like, I just don't know
Yeah,
if
I can
I
send
have
it.
it.
Yeah, the HOA, I sent a
Just,
letter.
it's data.
Yeah,
It's data, it'll,
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
send it.
And it makes it a lot easier too when we recommend it to the town
Justify your
council.
recommendation. Yeah.
Yeah, and you said it's an encroachment. Do you know what the code is on the encroachment?
Agreement.
No, but I can.
Or where it's at in our article? 'Cause I was still leaning towards the special use.
I don't know where it is.
How does that work if it's like, like in that same
Oh.
subdivision?
I don't even know if it's in the LUDC. I think it's in a separate.
Oh, okay.
Standalone ordinance
That
is
explains
why.
why I can't even find it then.
Is it town ordinances?
Yes, there are town ordinances surrounding.
Like in that same subdivision, I'm the only commercial property in the whole entire subdivision.
You
But
are, yeah.
a lot of, if you drive around there, a lot of homes have blacktop through the encroachment.
They do.
And I don't know if they had to go through the whole process I'm going through. Because it's parking and commercial, that's.
Makes it a little bit of
makes
a,
it different.
yep, makes it a little bit of a different ordeal for sure. And even now with some changes that we made in our LUDC, I don't believe that we're able to pave within that as well, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, it's specific that it's 5 feet.
Yeah,
That the new LUDC says
The
5 foot
buffer.
buffer.
You have to stay
Leave it
within
as
5
a-
feet.
Could you pave within 5, like blacktop within 5 feet?
You
And
have to,
then- And then on that,
leave it gravel.
just leave it gravel?
That's how I understood it, but,
Yeah, that's how I.
It's-
understood it as well.
I
Yeah,
mean,
that's-
it's a doable thing. It's actually supposed to be landscaping.
well, gravel's landscaping.
Yeah, I mean, at least put something in that hole.
Yeah, I would too, yeah.
Like,
It makes most common sense to do that, and it'd make it nice and
Is there a
neat.
swale there now?
yeah.
So,
There's kind of a dip in there.
How would we handle the stormwater? How's the water run off your parking lot?
So it would run off,
Is it sloped grade, yeah, how's
yeah,
it graded
he
back?
I should have, Keith Jackson, actually, who's just here, he's one.
Yeah, as I said, why didn't he stay?
Yeah, he's the one that actually did my grading for me.
So did he grade it to where it flows all the way back?
Can we
where
go
there's no
back to his,
storages?
can
That
we go
makes
back to
sense.
his photo?
Yeah, so if you look at the
Yes.
grading, he has it flowing,
Sloped,
sloped down,
gotcha.
yeah, so it's not going towards the.
So where is it?
Pull up the other pictures, let's see. So if you were
I
to,
think they're all on here.
so here we go, it's
Yeah.
sloping, so the water's going this way
Gotcha.
into this area.
So it's graded back into where
And
your
then the
snow
front?
storage is.
And the front is going in what direction?
Well, it's high in the front, right?
Yeah, it's high here, like high, low.
So so scroll, so I can see
What
his
about where
entire
your sign
parking lot.
is, where the
So
cars?
the
Where-
whole
so
parking
water
lot
flows,
goes
where
down.
it is
The
now-
whole thing flows that way.
Yeah, I mean, you're right now, I have low, I mean, I think everything's settled over 20 years when this parking lot's
Yeah.
done. So, right here, I have a low spot, so when it rains, I have a puddle that goes
Puddles.
up right here. Right, but with the new grading, and I'm having H&K do it, and he's pretty picky about
Yeah, he is.
his grading, so he was out there trying to tell Keith, this is how this has gotta be, this is how it's gonna be graded. So they made sure and had that water flowing this way.
Perfect.
And they, I may have them do, I don't know if it matters, this is also just road base right now, and they made blacktop on this.
Oh, while they're there anyway, that would make
Yeah,
sense.
I mean, this is on my own property,
Yeah, that would make sense to have them do that while you're there, that way you don't have to pay it twice.
so.
So if you,
So 5, if you measured, that's 14 feet, so 5 feet, I think I had them, when they did the base, I think there's, I'm trying to remember how many feet it is from.
Yeah, I can't remember, it wasn't very many.
this is the one place, this is exactly the one spot where I argued not to do the 5 feet,
Oh, right.
right?
And of course, you would bring it up.
Because I said, there's gonna be somebody who's gonna be able to,
Yeah, well, so if we have if we have a way for him to do that, instead of using the special use fee and using the encroachment, unfortunately, I would say that that's how we'll have to pass it off to the town council.
I think that if you were to say, I'm gonna zero-scape that with gravel, leave that 5-foot buffer, and do an encroachment permit, I think you're more likely to get buy-in to that than you are a special use permit for actually going to the road. That's my personal opinion on that, but that means nothing
if it's
because I'm
already-
not the council.
See, if it's already a swale, you can put some like river cobble in there and some plant material, and that would really help to. keep
Even
that
just grasses, like the,
Yeah.
You know, and then the other question I have is the city, you know, I know the city has their master plan, I guess. I mean, it'd be nice if the city did some sort of sidewalks or bike paths. I mean, is that
Yes,
in
it
the, is
would.
that in the
It would
plan?
look very
I
nice.
believe
See,
that's that's what,
And that would be.
We're hoping so.
yeah, that's what
Yeah,
we're working on.
it's bike paths and whatnot.
Yeah, it's
right.
whatever our town needs to create.
Yeah, you know, I don't know if it'd be on, you know, I don't know if it'd go right by my building here, but, you know, for example, over by, Troy's place, Lincoln County,
Customs.
they have, you know, that's kind of the same thing, they had paved across that, but they put in, again, lines drawn and there's like a little bike path.
So, let's say you have the 5 feet, and then you do, you know, they were gonna do a 4-foot walkway, which is gonna basically take you to 10. I think that you're gonna get far better if you pave to the setback and gravel the rest.
Yeah. It would it would
You,
look so
because,
much better
because
with
it's
all
on your
asphalt
property,
too.
and you've paved it, but you have leveled it to the, I think you're gonna get a lot further.
Can we have, I mean,
It's
I'm
not our choice.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not in a huge, like, I was hoping to get this done, this was planned to get done earlier, but as of right now, it's just kind of on hold, obviously, but can we have it go to the town council?
We're gonna have to. There's nothing we can do for you.
And see what they.
Yeah, we
say?
have to make that recommendation to the town
Okay.
council. I think it makes sense to have asphalt all the way up to the road. That
Yeah,
makes
I
sense
mean,
to me.
I-
And paint some lines and then,
No, I would
we'll
like, I'd like
address
to
those
try that, I mean,
concerns.
like, if I can get that, let's try it.
Um,
If they won't, then
you
think
have,
we got a good idea.
you need to
I
have
would-
another backup
I-
plan of, like he said, with the
I-
gravel.
I wouldn't even waste my time taking the pavement idea to the road. I think they're gonna shut you down.
Really?
Yep.
Even though
Because
people
the
have done it in the
laws are not in your favor. But if
Never
you,
hurts to ask.
because if you
Yeah.
pave to your setback and then you gravel,
But I'm still, the problem is like, you know, I talked with, is it the enforcement,
I think it was Tara. Yeah.
Oh, Tara.
Tara,
Thank you.
right, she was saying you cannot, it's an easement, so regardless, it doesn't matter if it's blacktop, it doesn't matter if it's road base, it's the same thing.
well,
And so if you put in, like, what's the difference between me putting in blacktop and me putting in road base?
we don't have an impervious surface rule, so
There's no, like,
couldn't.
Well, just the ordinances that are saying that you're not supposed to, that's it. That's the only difference. I mean, the truth of the matter is, no matter what you put in there, if we have to go through it, you're responsible for fixing it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
and I'm totally-
then the
that's
ordinances
totally fine.
say that you can't do it within a certain range, that's the holdup.
Yeah, and there's no, you know, I had everything marked, so there's no utilities under that area as well. That was all marked out.
I would say have a plan, I mean, I'm all for having A, B, and C, D plans. Always having a backup to a backup to a backup. So I would say go in with, I would love to have blacktop up to there, because aesthetically, that would make sense, especially looking from here, instead of having just some weird piece of gravel that's 5 foot, and it just would look odd. And being able to address, parking pulling out into the road and all of that, but have a backup plan to
Can I ask you a
accept that
question?
with the gravel.
if you don't mind. How old is that building?
Oh, it's fairly new.
2004.
Yeah.
Okay, and when did they put that road in?
What road?
That road,
That road for Riverview, that's been in there for years.
I have no idea.
well, okay, before 2004?
Yeah,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
yeah. That's been there for years. That was,
Long
I think
as I
that
can
road
remember.
was, I think that road was there when Riverview Meadows just came into
Trying
play.
to help.
So that's what I would say, come up with an extra, A, B, and C plan.
You know,
It makes sense to me to have asphalt all the way up to
Yeah, I mean, I guess my question is, why would, like, other places in the city, like I said, Subway, Bank of Star Valley, all those places, why is it okay for them to have the parking to the road, but I
Because
can't?
they were before.
grandfathered in to
But
do it.
Subway
They
isn't
were-
up to the road though.
Yeah, and they were also before we updated our land use
Yeah.
development code. And that's what makes it a challenge. And we can't, and this is another reason why people at home, this is why we get involved with our town politics, so that we can help plan for these types of things. Because we can't think of everything when we're going through these rules and regulations.
You know, I
or
mean,
updating
you
them.
know, for example, because I may end up, I'd like to actually rezone this whole thing, but I'm having, that's a whole issue with the HOA
Yeah.
and stuff. But I may end up building a new building
Yeah, you were talking about that a while ago too.
behind, you know, like, I mean, you have to follow the setbacks and everything, all the rules, but the only way you would have parking would be, it would have to be all off of the road.
Do you own that piece of property in the back?
Yeah, so this is all one piece of,
Yeah.
Can you scroll so I can see the road all the way through?
I can go up.
You could zoom out.
yeah, you should be able to scroll down, there you go.
All right, so and that's a great
I
idea.
think the property line runs
Yeah, so,
right around
yeah.
here.
Yeah,
So-
my property line goes right here. I own this piece is residential, and then this
Yeah.
piece is commercial.
So
And
why
what I'd
can't
like
you
to
put a
do is
parking lot on that other one?
So I'd
What?
like to rezone this whole piece of property to commercial.
Oh,
Or MRC.
Well, it's
You'd
not
have
gonna-
to do
MRC's not gonna work.
but if you're gonna do employee housing or housing there, you're gonna have to have MRC.
Unless the city changes the policy with
With,
commercial,
yeah.
which what they're kind of talking about. So my best bet,
Roll in with the-
trying to change this whole thing to MRC would be super complicated. The HOA says they wouldn't approve it, even though it's not up to the HOA.
All right, would it be, and I'm just gonna ask it, how hard it would be for you to just say, for the time being, I'm just gonna make a gravel parking lot for on that lot to the north?
Like right here.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Is
can,
it-
I mean, I can.
Because then you don't even have to go through all of this.
I mean, let's say that I just wanted to leave this gravel, am I gonna get in trouble if I have
No.
the excavators come in and put gravel here?
I think what Dan's trying to say is if you get rid of this, what you've already put in right here, this just becomes a roadway and you actually put your parking
Yeah.
back here.
If this goes away, let's say this piece goes away, right?
Yeah.
And it's just going, and you access to come in and you parking lot here, and you walk into your place from here, you'd have plenty of ton of parking. That way, this is gone, this lot gets an access, either from here or from here.
Because you could access it right through here if you really wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wouldn't
Yeah,
even
I
have
don't think you need to have another road. cut.
Because here's the problem.
And
You
I'm
put
just
it-
asking the question, I'm just,
Yeah, no,
because
I appreciate it.
you can spend the money, right? You can go spend the money and do all of this and say, hey, I wanna pave this, and they say no. And you can say, well, then I'll pave it to here, and I'll put gravel there. No, they can deny you and keep denying you. I'm just helping you say, maybe there's a different way to skin the cat. Because if you don't come across here, you get access, every lot gets an access. So if you come through here, you can drive down through, you can block this.
I don't think the HOA would.
Oh, that would come into a whole.
Would allow the parking
Yeah.
on
I don't
that.
think the HOA, I mean, I'd have to get approval through the HOA.
Yeah.
I just don't,
Well, I mean, it's commercial, and
You-
commercial is a parking lot,
yeah.
so.
You have a couple of plans of action that you can approach a town council, and
Yeah.
the special use permit is probably not the best bet.
So I hate to throw a wrench in all.
Oh, bring it, let's go, we love challenges here.
So there is some parking considerations, and I think Tara had talked to you a little bit about it. Whether this is considered a medical facility or not. If it's considered a medical facility, and I reached out to the state, and I
I mean, I was like, how long did it take you to get your medical degree?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a medical,
It's a
yeah.
medical.
So that means that they're saying that you have to have X number of dedicated emergency parking spots. I think it's 2. And 1 handicap spot. So now you need to designate 3 of these parking spots for those things.
Yeah.
Which even takes away from what you have already.
Yeah, I mean, I already have.
Like, if you don't do anything, then you don't have to worry about that. I mean, you technically should, but if you start doing stuff, now you have to worry about that.
I'm just saying, let's say that I can use that with the town let's say the town council says, we're not gonna do this, and I'm gonna say, look, I need these legally, I need these spots. And this is the only spot I can put it. I need to have it paved for access in case of an ambulance that needs to get there.
Well, technically, I was looking at it, and if you, it's the requirements for the square footage of your building, for the amount of parking spots you need to have, and then with the emergency vehicles and the handicap spot, you have enough parking spots right now, per LUDC. You would not need to add anything.
But
That
there's
being
no-
said,
But there's no employee parking, and that's
Right.
what that new parking spot's gonna be, is specifically
Right.
for employee parking.
I'm just saying that they may come back to you during this whole thing and say, no, that's fine, we're gonna do this. You, not only can you not do that, not only can you not do that, but as soon as you add anything, we're making you do all that
To
other
get up to
emergency
See,
vehicle and.
I just see all of those hoops.
Well, and I
just see all of
know,
that, and
they
I'm
are
like,
going to come
what's the
to-
most common sense approach?
they're going to come to every business in town right now and make them do handicap parking, so that's
Yeah.
coming regardless of
Yeah.
whether the emergency vehicle spots are. I would assume that's coming as well, because once they start dealing with handicap, they're gonna start dealing with emergency vehicle parking, which there's very few places in town that have it, you, the clinic, whatever.
I mean,
I'm
if
just
that,
putting that out there for you to think about.
you'd have so much parking in the back for employees and emergency vehicles.
But that's where I may end up doing my, like, a new building back there.
Yeah.
Eventually,
don't
but you could put a
If-
new building back there even at
Like,
that.
you can do that later. I mean,
Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter.
Especially if you just did it in gravel, you're really not putting that much.
But
money
I mean, my
in.
question is, let's say that, am I gonna get in trouble if, let's say I don't even blacktop it? Let's say I just leave it road base the way it is, because it's pretty nice, I mean, it's
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
packed down.
He
It's way better than it was, it's just dirt. So let's just say that I had Keith come in and say, hey, can you finish adding the road base to the road to fill in that spot? Am I gonna get in trouble for that?
Yeah, you'll have to take it back to the setback. Whatever there is
I
in
mean,
that
like,
setback, it's.
I mean,
got to
like,
go
I've
back.
already technically, like, what I did was already technically was not allowed.
Right.
Because I already added to this.
That would have to
setback.
be reclaimed out.
So I'm just saying,
Well-
if I had Keith come in and,
He's got that 5 feet.
It's
Everywhere, everywhere up to his property line, he's got 5 feet. This is the problem with that 5 feet
Still
thing.
5 feet, yeah.
The 5 feet, so he wouldn't have to, if he's got 5 feet, he wouldn't have to do a thing. If it's gravel, wouldn't have to do.
Right, but if he paves it, that's different.
Well, if he paves it, he's gonna be in trouble.
Yeah.
yeah, if I paid,
Okay, I see what you're saying.
but I'm saying if I add something into this crappy spot and level it out with road base just to make this level, am I gonna get in trouble?
We're not the ones who can tell you that anymore.
I'd have to do a little,
You're gonna have to go to the people.
To the town council,
But you're saying, if I added blacktop to this spot,
to your
Correct.
property line, yeah.
you guys can't.
That's
do
his
it.
setback.
This
We
is
can't,
this is my setback to the property line.
can't do anything to your blacktop. That is your legal right.
So I can come here and then just leave this gravel.
Correct.
sorry, I went away from that for a second.
Well, let me.
The
I'll-
the way I understand.
Okay. Well, let's go to the, city council.
We need to make a recommendation to the town council, for Mr. Linford.
I'm just trying to word it.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it too.
Rachel, you got any wise?
Words of wisdom?
No, what I'm thinking, and I probably shouldn't even say, I know it's touchy, in Jackson, in a situation like this, sometimes their interpretation is a lot about intent in terms of what ground cover can go where. Like, for example, in town, they have a 20-foot wide maximum curb cut for your driveway.
Yeah.
And a lot of homeowners will try to say, well, I'm gonna put gravel next to it, and that's landscaping, but the
Your
town is wise to
intent,
that, and they
yeah.
won't approve it unless you deliberately put like boulders or something in place to prove that you're not gonna park there. So I am just curious how town council here or planning would interpret that, because sometimes the material isn't so much important as the intent of the material, if that makes sense.
No, I agree. And that's definitely a consideration. I don't think it's explicitly spelled out anywhere in the
Right.
LUDC. That's something that's interpreted by you guys as a committee, by the town council. What is intent something that you're considering when your decisions are made?
So, just between us, guys.
And the record and everybody at home.
I know you were trying to do something to help make your business work.
Well, and it,
And unfortunately, when you thought about it, we could have done something about it. Right?
well, yeah. we're moving forward.
Before we got our lines all crossed, you could,
Well, I mean, I talked to Christine, right?
I get it.
You know, and I think maybe I got some miscommunication with her. And I think I was unaware of the length of the setback.
Yeah.
But she basically, she gave me correct information. She just said, look, as long as you pave to your property line, you don't need a permit, right? And that's what she said. And so, for some reason, I thought maybe the setback was like 2 or 3 feet.
Oh, gotcha. Well,
Right.
that makes sense.
You know,
It's an honest mistake.
Yeah, you know, so
And
I
it's
was
not like you put a pile of poop on that setback. It's gravel, class. I mean, we need that gravel. And it makes it easier to plow. And I can get on board with either program. It makes sense to have gravel all the way to the road or asphalt.
If they were to come with sidewalks later, they would go right up to your pavement and you would have that much more.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Right, but you can't drive over a sidewalk.
no,
Oh, sure you
no,
can.
but it
Well, you're not supposed to.
Yeah,
You're
You know
not
what I'm
supposed
saying?
to.
I'm just saying.
You can have an approach
It-
through a
it-
sidewalk, but you're not
Right.
technically supposed to
It
drive across a
just-
sidewalk.
To me, it makes so much more sense. You could eliminate all of the drama and the hype and go to the homeowners and say, this is a commercial piece of property and I'm building a parking lot.
Well, for right now, let's address what Mr. Linford wants to do. He wants to figure out what he can do with this little hunk of section that he's got. On whether or not he can put gravel all the way up to the asphalt, or if he can do asphalt all the way up to the
I
asphalt.
believe there's a fee
And
for
so, for an encroachment permit, is that what you mean, or
there's a fee.
for, okay, there's a fee for which part? I'm
There's a
sorry.
fee. When you go beyond what we're doing,
Oh.
there's a fee.
I gotcha.
He's gonna have to pay a fee to go, and he may or may not get, that's why I said,
Yeah.
it would be easier for him to go for 2 things and get shot down both, or maybe only get shot down 50%. But it seems to me that if he's got a medical building, a special use parking lot, seems to me to be the little bit more forward plan than using an encroachment to say, well, I need parking. It's like, I'd rather go to the special use and say I have a medical building and I need these handicap and accessible spots.
So how do you want to approach us to the town council? How do we forward this on to the town council, Dan?
That's where I'm, one is one and one is the other.
I mean, let's just see what they say. I mean, they may say you need.
We still have to do a recommendation to them. We still have to send a recommendation to the town council on what we
Well-
want to do. And I mean, we can
Is
all,
that true, Gina? Do we have to?
that's what I thought was,
For an encroachment permit, yeah.
Is this an permit or an agreement? 'Cause I know you mentioned 2 different things.
You know, and that's a good distinguishing, like distinguishing between the two. I do not know if for an agreement, you have to have it or not. I'd have to look, and I honestly don't know. So, I was trying to pull it up, but it's being very slow. See, I was trying to get the encroachment ordinance here, and I just cannot find it for the life of me.
I know last time here, Shay Scafidi was actually here, and she was actually trying to encourage us to have this, I know she's on the town council, and she was actually encouraging us to get it done.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
it makes sense. I also understand the legality piece of backing out, you know. Everybody knows you have a driveway, so now everybody has versed, driveways are this big.
But if it's, I think if you make it specifically employee parking, and you even put signs up,
Employee parking.
employee parking only,
yeah.
and you have, right, and the employee know that they're not gonna back out into the road, I mean, and so my patients are all gonna be going in, through the other way, right? So I think there's ways that we can get around this by painting lines, putting up signs, you know, I don't know, but I appreciate your feedback, because you've got a lot of good ideas as far as, if I do get shut
Can
down.
you do it in diagonal parking there?
So,
Like, so I did send pictures of, I actually drew lines out on the, photos.
like option 1 and option 2.
Yeah, I thought I attached those, but for some reason I did not.
Well,
So-
that, whether it's diagonal or not
Yeah,
doesn't
it
really make a
doesn't matter.
difference,
But
whether it's
well,
encroaching.
because if you just pull up the last picture you have.
So what kind of a recommendation do we want to make to the town council? That, we agree that I don't know. I mean, it makes
I mean,
sense to me. It should just be gravel all the way to it. I don't know why we have to rehash this and make this weird.
You know, I had lines put here, so you'd have 1, 2, 3, but I don't really want people parking this close to the highway.
Right, that makes sense. Yes, sir.
It would make more sense to have the lines this way.
Yep.
Well, if they came in, all right, so let's say, this is just me.
Sorry, guys. We're working on it.
Oh, sorry, Dan, didn't know you were going to.
I'm sorry. All right,
I was trying to find his other
So-
picture.
let's say this is your 5 feet, right?
Yeah,
And it
it's
remains-
close. It's-
Let's say it just remains 5 feet. And you came in and you drove right here and you had diagonal, diagonal, diagonal. And they could get out, they could get out, they could get out. So if this was all diagonal here, you might be able to leave that 5 foot. Have that gravel, have your pavement there. And
Oh, let's see what town council says about it.
He's
You have three
to
options.
fight the fight.
So yes, you have three options, and yeah, and I agree with having gravel there, and I agree with having asphalt. I think it would look great if it was asphalted all the way up to the road. That makes aesthetically pleasing, that makes it normal, with the understanding that if anything goes wrong, or if we have to go through, you're
I'm
responsible for any
responsible,
repairs or
exactly.
anything like. That makes the most common sense to me.
Yep.
But apparently, working in government agencies does not
well, the
work
law,
that well, and the law.
the law,
Okay, so my
Because-
question, Gina, is if we're gonna make a motion to recommend approval, or is there a way for us to like leave it vague enough if we aren't just saying specifically
We're just
what it
making
needs
a
to be?
recommendation
Well,
to it, right?
but I wouldn't wanna say like, we recommend you use X, Y, or Z permit.
Oh, I see what
whatever,
you mean.
Yeah.
I see.
Like, can we leave it vague somehow?
All right.
Yeah, I don't think you have to specifically recommend
page
one
are
way
you
or the other. You could just say, hey, we don't have any issue with gravel or
I'm
per
just gonna ask this.
pavement up to the.
What page?
roadway. Where you at?
Okay, has anybody talked to you about this yet?
I mean, I've looked at it.
Okay,
Nobody's talked to me.
okay,
But-
so it's supposed to be part of planning and zoning, okay?
What page is he on?
He's on the, he's on the
Board of
Board of
Adjustments.
Adjustments, which is, tell her the page. She just wants the page. 153.
Thank you.
153 or 33. So but what's your point to that, Dan? Like, you're
My
just
point
saying.
is you can always go in front of the council and try to get an agreement.
Uh-huh.
You can always push to get the Board of Adjustment, and then there'll be 7 people sitting.
Yeah.
And that,
Right, so I mean,
That-
just because the
that
council
one-
says no
that
doesn't mean
carries.
it's a no, but then that's just a whole nother process you have to go through with an appeal.
yeah, but he might be able to pave all the way to the road.
I'm not happy.
It's how important that pavement to the road is.
I mean, it's there for a reason.
It's a time cost kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, if it's, right now it's okay. I'm parking on the gravel and it's fine for right now, so. I'll fight it for a little bit and just see where I get. And like I said, worst case scenario, if they say, no, not gonna happen, then I'm probably gonna do your recommendation and just pave to my property line and gravel it. So. And hopefully I can, like I said, my plan
Because-
is to build a new building. I'm hoping I can get, because my building's really too small for, what I'm doing right now.
Well, and to have that divot on the end for plowing snow is a pain in the butt. So it'd be better if it was flat. If anybody who's plowed snow knows, having that divot there is not so much fun.
Well, in the wintertime, you wouldn't even notice it because it would.
You would the first couple snowfalls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It got filled in, and then it would be done.
Okay. So back to the original question then.
And you can always say, we don't have a recommendation. There's, you could say, we don't know.
It was, yeah, because it can't be, yeah, we don't know which permit it should be. It shouldn't, it can't be the special use permit from what we've just discussed. And we're not for sure if it should be the encroachment permit or agreement, one of the two. So I say we just pass it off to the town council and,
With no recommendation.
yeah, because we don't have a recommendation on which one to use.
Yeah, I agree with
Because
that.
we're on the fence on both sides.
Well, if we saw
Personally-
the encroachment data, we'd be able to read it.
This is the encroachment per, ordinance right here. I just found it.
You found it,
Took me
sweet.
forever, but found it. And I don't know if you wanna seriously like go through it right this moment, but
How many pages?
it's a couple pages, just 2, I think.
And Dan's got his head right on the middle.
Let me, I swear I printed it in this folder. I love when I think I do things and then I don't.
Do we print that?
Yeah, for sure. I think it'll print from here.
Is that on the website?
It is. It's under the ordinances though. It's not under the LUDC.
Oh, okay. I was
That's the
I was
catch.
trying to look for it on the, I just couldn't find it.
Well, they're trying to do something.
It was a lawful for a person to improve that road. Candidates, roadsides, streets, whatever.
See, they're all on there.
So it's an encroachment agreement.
Yeah. That's
We,
what-
that's what we're gonna have to come up to. That's what it says right here. The way I'm reading this is the town of Alpine, needs an encroachment agreement. So I think that's what it's gonna have to be, is we need to recommend that they do an encroachment agreement.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
kind of
was-
where I was at.
Yeah, especially with what this is reading as well.
Oh, look, I did print it.
Now
There
that
it
we've all read it.
Yeah.
separately.
Would you like this?
You found it?
Found it.
Thanks, hon. That's good.
You're welcome.
Level-based improvements more than 3 inches above grade within the right of way, such as maintaining grass, gravel, three-quarter crush is what he's using, no improvement should be allowed. Yeah, I'm gonna say it's an encroachment,
Agreement.
yeah.
Okay.
Any person seeking to encroach or manner town streets right of way shall first have to obtain encroachment permit. So I guess it starts out as an agreement and then it's a permit?
I think it's a permit then an agreement.
The written,
Yes, permits like a limited time.
okay, perfect.
Yeah, that's what I was like. Permit's like, oh, I gotta go do some work in this encroachment.
and I'll be done
then
on this
I'll-
date.
Then I'll be done in 2 weeks or whatever it is.
Okay.
So we're
Agreement
gonna
means
make
this
a
is gonna be a
motion?
continuing.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree with that.
Okay.
You do have a copy, or at least let me have the numbers.
Did I whack you? You
No,
can, you
it's
can
okay.
have this. I can print more.
I'll write down the ordinance number.
Yeah.
Okay,
196?
195.
Oh, that's on
Okay, I will entertain a motion for Dr. Linford.
Okay.
Anybody?
I would make a motion that planning and zoning.
Well, maybe it's a recommendation, not necessarily a motion. But do we need to untable this first?
Oh,
All
we
right,
didn't,
we-
we didn't untable.
No, we didn't, we just talked about it.
Let's
We have-
untable and
We
then
have now come up with a conclusion on what we need to do, so yes, now we need to take it off the table and put it on the active.
So I make a motion that we take Dr. Linfield's,
Tabled,
off the tabled items. Kurt Linford, DDS lot number 302 Riverview Meadows, off of the tabled items.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Oh, sorry, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, now, I will entertain a motion on recommending
Go get it, Rachel.
the permit.
So
get it,
I would, so I would make a motion that planning and zoning make a recommendation to town council to approve an encroachment permit and agreement with Dr. Linford.
I have
Does
a,
that make sense?
that makes
Yeah,
sense to
okay.
me. I have a motion on the table, do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I will draft that up and send it to you guys so you can kind of at least get agree with the
Here,
wording
hang
or
on,
not agree with the
Dr.
wording, okay?
Linford's to you.
And I think they're on the 17th, they have a meeting on the 17th.
Okay, so what do I need to do, just show up at the meeting?
Yes,
Yes,
Yeah.
she'll pass it off to whoever.
Yeah, I'll get the recommendation and then I
And then
will,
I will also,
Touch base with you.
I need to get the email from the HOA too, that's good.
yes.
yes, have that
That'd be
with you
good.
as well.
Can
I think that's good,
Can I just email that to you?
yes, good ammunition to have for sure.
Got it.
Make sure and come up with a couple extra plans too, just in case.
Yeah, I can just draw them out too, just so,
That's a great idea.
show them out, so.
Yep.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
You bet, thank you,
Great
man.
day.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Yep.
All right, should we take care of,
was thinking the
discussion
same
items
thing.
for these
Yeah.
gentlemen? Unless you guys wanna hear about us going through.
You want to go through the whole OUDC
Yeah,
with
we're going
us?
through the LUDC next, so.
Basically, we have already, so.
So,
If you guys want, we can totally talk about your guys' stuff next.
let's talk about this.
Okay,
So they
let's
can
move on to Mr. Steve Smith with Amarak.
pull up-
Amark,
pull up
Airmark,
some seats.
come on up. Oh, yeah, the two mics are down there, sorry, gentlemen.
Yes. Oh, the buttons are on, okay.
Yep. All right, what we got going on, gentlemen?
So 2 months ago, we purchased Alpine Adventure Rentals right
Nice.
on the road here.
Yep.
And we came to the office here and inquired about what the possibility would be of utilizing the second floor of the building that we lease from the owners for housing,
Okay,
as it's already set up as such. When they did a quick review of your map here, they did say that it did fall under a certain zone for.
is it MRC?
It's MRC, isn't it?
Okay,
Yeah, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Steve, I believe it would be authorized in the event that we used it for our own employees, obviously not,
Yeah.
like an
No
apartment
leases
set
or
up to the
anything, yeah, it's
public,
just for,
so.
strictly for employee
Just for
housing,
our-
seasonal employee housing at that, so it's
Yeah.
nothing.
yeah, I mean, it's MRC, so that is definitely allowed.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with that.
Okay,
Is that the only question?
that was our only question.
And then we just want to make sure, not we, but y'all, as responsible property owners, want to make sure that it's a livable space and
Yes.
not
Yeah,
just,
for sure.
mean, obviously-
And we
not just
even-
an attic space.
We brought pictures.
With a
too,
bed in
if
it.
you
An
wanted
already
to
usable
take a look
space,
at
does it need work? Are you gonna have to do a permit?
It does not.
Okay, that was my question. If you're doing any work to it, then we're gonna have to do a permit.
It's all
Okay.
finished.
And if it's already finished,
Yeah, then
then
you should be good. Maybe, do we need to have DH go over there and just take a quick
I
peek?
mean, and
When was
that's
the
a
last time
great
we looked at it?
question, like maybe DJ would just do a cursory, like, I'm gonna come over and check it out and say, hey, this is glaringly like life safety we need to address or not.
Okay.
And I don't think that that would hurt. I'd love to, like, I wonder when that building was built, do you know?
Oh,
I don't,
it's
because
fairly-
the folks that we lease it from are the former owners of Alpine Adventure Rentals, and
Well, I
they
would
said it was
assume-
formerly a real estate office.
Where their living rooms would be, and these are little rooms off of it.
I'd assume it was permitted as such
Bathroom,
already.
Shower in there, yeah.
That's my guess, yeah, because it was
Uh,
already built
And
as
this is the
such.
kitchen area, so we would add appliances to it, and that's basically it, it's ready. to
Yeah,
go.
it looks like it
Yeah,
is,
no
yeah.
construction.
It's got a fire door.
Fire door, I took pictures, it's got smoke alarms, it's all ready, so.
Perfect,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's my thing. I feel like if it's up there already, there's a good chance that it was already permitted as that.
Okay.
So they had people living there before, they said, so.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe check with Deej and see if he wants to take just a pop by, if
And
that's a
I will look
possibility.
and just see if I could find the original permit and see what it
Perfect.
says.
At least see what year it was, and I mean, it looks like is there any way we can ask you guys to send those pictures to Miss Gina so we put them in with
Absolutely.
the record?
Sure can.
Just in case?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
that'd
good
be
with
awesome,
that.
yeah. So right now, we don't see anything major of concern.
Okay,
Not at all.
awesome.
Yeah, it looks great.
Well, I'm just gonna throw this out. If it's in an MRC, I don't think anybody needs to look at it at all.
I don't think so either. I mean, especially if it's already been used for that.
Yeah.
Now, if you're adding other pieces to it, depending on whether it falls underneath what a permit requires. then
Let's
yeah.
back this up though, before we get too far ahead of us. If this is not with y'all's case by any means. But remember, we had that one place that had the shed that was built that they were using as a bedroom. But, people's already been living in it, it should be fine. We didn't have anybody inspect that.
But that one does fall underneath the permitted.
Right,
That-
but
yeah,
I'm
that-
saying that we shouldn't live by people have already been living there.
No. It's,
shouldn't have it
I'm just saying, it's in a building
Yeah,
that
No, it looks great. I don't
is
see any
been
problems.
built and it has an apartment and it's MRC. To me, if it meets all of those, nobody needs to look at it, go right ahead. That piece where there was, it fell under, if it's less than 300 square feet, you don't get to have that.
yes.
And it was under 300 square feet and they had 3 beds in it, so.
Right, but
You know.
we also want to make sure that we don't live with that
Right, right.
process.
I think you're
Well,
saying that-
somebody's already lived
That
in it,
very
it should be
specific
fine.
caveat is
Yeah.
not the one to go by.
Yes.
Just want to make sure that we got this all in the record. I think you guys are
Yeah,
fine.
I think so too.
Fantastic. Okay. All right, thank you for your time.
Sorry, guys.
No, all good. Have a good evening.
You too, thanks, gentlemen. All right, review. Are we gonna go through the second, number 2 of the land use development codes?
Well, can I ask something, Gina? And
Yes.
I might have asked you, or what's in, they've been reading, they're going through, and they're trying to push some stuff, land use development code, the next one is gonna be reading number 3.
Right.
What,
I think I put it on here, did I not put the changes on here? Let me double check, I'll pull them up.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing, Dan, that spurred this was the electrical inspections.
correct,
And then I updated to where the IACC says you really only need 2 paper copies and 1 digital. So I changed it from 3 paper copies to 2 paper copies and a digital because I don't need 3 paper copies. There's nothing I need for
Yeah.
that. And then there was just like one other little thing, like, we didn't do a lot of major changes with this one, I just wanted to get that electrical thing through.
no, I think that was
That
great,
makes
but
sense,
now
yeah.
we can add a bunch, because we talked about that at the council meeting, we were like, hey, if you guys can come up with some more,
The problem is I think that to dedicate the time to it and do it properly, I say we let this be this is my theory, let this be a standalone issue, and then go back to the drawing board where we're at with this.
yeah, I mean,
There's nothing emergency right now we need to address as far
the,
as I'm
the
concerned.
building envelope one, and what it looks like, 3-dimensionally, needs to happen.
It does, but truth be told, we're only what, I know this sounds stupid to say, and you're gonna
Well, I
hate me
get
for it, but
I get it. And
we
I
only
know
have
where
3
you're-
more
I know
months
where
of
you're
real building season, and then we can address it properly, right?
Okay,
But-
what are the fines for digging outside of your setback?
There are none,
That's right. But
because ICC doesn't.
you
do
have
it.
been told, it says, you are not allowed to dig.
Where does it say that though?
It says,
It says no structures
says no
in the setback.
structure.
Yeah,
Okay, so,
doesn't say anything
So-
about excavation.
so,
Whoever the landowner is, whoever's digging on that, if I'm digging on your property, then you're the landowner, you're gonna yell
well,
at me. and-
we're gonna end up going, we're gonna start directing all of this conversation to the to the place across the street, okay? They have cut from their
Right.
property line
I saw
through their setback, okay? I don't believe, if we had those plans, if we could find the plans with the civil set that they brought, and we could look at them, there is no way, there is nothing, they were fraudulently given to us. Those plans are fraudulent that were given to us. They don't represent anything that's being built over there.
So, what DJ looked at the plans, and we'll have to find them and look at them, and I can show you what he was looking at.
Correct.
He found 18 to 20 foot of cut on a set of plans. I don't know, like I said, I don't know enough about that, but he found the 18 to 20 foot where you have found 4 to 6, right? So he, as far as he's concerned, it's not, without shooting it to know that they went 21 feet, we don't know.
What set of plans is he looking at?
Same
Because the
set we
set
were
of
looking
plans- The set of plans that I'm looking at that were given to us,
It was the same set we were looking at, Dan. So, but this is a conversation that I think that you and DJ have to have, because you guys could actually have this with some intelligence where I can't.
well, where are those plans?
They're here somewhere. I will find them, but like, I don't know that like right now is the time to have that discussion. Like, I for sure think that you and DJ should have that discussion. I'd love for you guys to be on the same page.
We did talk about that when they brought the plans up to be, as
See,
well.
there's certain civil codes that go through with this. Like, if we do the math of the 20 feet and go to where his concrete wall is, he can't make the grade in a 2-to-1. There are certain things, like, if you cut the hillside, you have to retain that hillside.
Excuse me.
Before you reclaim it, is what you're saying.
Before you even put anything back in the ground, that hillside has to be supported.
And I am not disagreeing with you. This is my thing. I just need to see it in black and white.
Correct, that's why I said,
Yeah.
those plans that we have are inaccurate.
No,
They
what I
need-
am saying is I need to see where that requirement is in black and white. Like, I need to know, like, you're referencing this code, you're referencing this, you're referencing
Yeah,
that.
that's in the civil code.
Like, what's civil?
That's
what's
code,
civil-
like, you know,
like,
like, we have
International Code Council
IRC,
code?
IBC, you know, there's all these kind of codes that we have to actually follow. It's not just one, there's like
Yeah, but
dozens.
it
So
doesn't
should we,
talk
okay,
about excavation in those. is the
should
thing.
we,
Yes.
should we make sure and just add this to a conversation?
Yes.
At a later date so that we can make sure?
100%.
Okay.
I do think
So
this
let's
needs to be
do
addressed.
that.
But it's also about what we're taking in from people and what we allow.
Agreed, and that's something we need to address when we move forward, and that's why I'm saying, like, we could this is why I've been pushing for a work session, is that we could take the time and actually hammer out these issues. We'll have 3 hours to do it, as opposed to 30 minutes when we're done with
Sure,
everything
sure,
else.
sure. No,
So,
And that's why I'm
what,
saying, let's do a work session, let's do this right.
what should we put down for a conversation to have, the excavation over?
Excavation plans, civil sets,
Plans, okay.
like what kind of requirements we're gonna want with those, right?
Correct.
Double checking if there's excavation requirements within setbacks, because this is my distinguishing between what you're saying and what I'm saying. There's temporary excavation in order to accomplish the end result, or there's permanent excavation. If you're leaving something in a permanent site, or a permanent
Oh,
state of
yeah.
excavated, it's different than if you're just excavating it to put something in to then
To
backfill it.
Yeah, because
No.
if you're
No,
using,
it's not.
if you're using,
Not on a
I
toe-
think it
Not
is.
on a toe and a foot like that, it isn't.
So that's the thing, we need to have that discussion, I
That's
feel
right.
like it is.
That's
Yeah,
why
I don't-
we have two really, really great engineers that the town has employed.
But neither one of them had a problem with it.
I know that Jason Mann didn't come down here, and Cody didn't
Okay.
come down
Okay,
here.
I don't
We
think
have-
this is something we need to talk about.
Correctly, but we have
Yeah.
Jorgensen that said that, we have DJ that said it, and we have Covenant that said it.
Wait.
That's 3 engineers.
Where is the data that Jorgensen said it was
I
okay?
cannot tell you, I did not ask him for his data. I asked 3 different engineers, and 3 different engineers were okay with it. I'm not an engineer, I have to take that as,
okay, so we will make sure and address that, excavation plans.
I mean,
civil set,
I'm willing to
double-check
admit though that
setbacks.
I'm wrong, but
I'm not saying you're wrong, I'm not saying you're
just,
wrong.
So-
Definitely not saying you're wrong.
Let's,
I'm just saying, I agree that we all have to get it
Okay.
on pen and paper.
So this is my question, and Mo, this is definitely up to you guys. Since we have, are scheduling a workshop, do we want to discuss any of these revisions tonight?
y'all made me do damn
I'm
homework
just-
for the
I'm
4th of
curious.
July weekend.
I'm curious.
So, we're going
And
over
that's
this, so that I can continue to read the next ones. Okay, I just had a couple questions, and it shouldn't take long.
Okay. I'm not worried about how long it takes, I'm
Well,
just asking.
who did chapter 2?
I did chapter 2.
Well, then, honey, just let her rip.
Like, my gosh, this, the next 4th of July, you guys.
If
the
you ask her to
second
do
one.
something on the next 4th of July, Mo's out.
I'm out. You guys are on your own.
She
You
is
are
out.
out.
All right, so part 2, let's see here. On page 9, I really liked how,
I'm gonna
we
pull it up.
adopted on page 9. I liked how we adopted, made sure and put in the, master plan when we first initially did it. That was just a kudos, saying that, I think that was a good idea that we had the forethought to put that in there.
Sometimes we do good things.
Yes, yes, we do.
They're good
Okay.
things, that is, right?
All right, and number 2, page 10.
Use my yellow pencil.
Let's see, on the PUD and the zone change, can we still say that the P and Z can look over a conceptual plan? Due to the fact that we just go over the site plan only. So, I made notes, so I
I'm
have to
gonna
read.
go grab my book, I apologize.
Can I add one thing to this one?
Well, I just had a question on it, yeah.
Sure. To be honest, I think we should be having pre-approval meetings. Like when
Oh my
people bring-
gosh, how many meetings do we need to have for
No,
these poor people
because-
to do
Because
this?
here's the problem. They're never gonna get it right. How many people come through here and have it exactly?
You know
They
what,
don't.
though? It's a learning curve and we all have to learn. I don't know.
I'm just saying, it would make so much sense to have pre-approval meetings.
Man, it would just.
Well, who would do that, Gina, or?
Yeah.
Well, Gina, or one or two of us, it doesn't matter. I just think that just being able to see what they have
Yeah.
and laying it all out.
I can understand that. It's just, there's so many meetings upon meetings.
Well,
It just
you
is
know,
crazy.
or we can keep
Fun meetings.
getting, the stuff we get.
We're still a small town
Well,
and we're still moving forward,
Dan thinks we should do pre-approval meetings.
On,
just in general.
Everything,
just a
okay.
conversation. Okay, so on this, number 2, the planned use development.
we're on page 10?
Yep,
Yep.
I'm on page 10. Conceptual site plan, proposed land use development, proposed and zoning changes, leading. So due to the fact that we just don't look over site plan, does this include, or is the same as a conceptual plan? So, because it says conceptual site plan, is that the same as just our regular site plan?
So this is with the actual PUD process.
And also with the zone change?
So I think that
What, the conceptual site plan is what had me thrown off, is that?
Conceptual is like
A
a
pre-plan.
pre-plan.
right,
Right.
not like actually drawn out by an architect per
Correct.
se.
It's just, here's what we'd like to do,
Yeah.
you know, like these two guys came.
Yeah,
Like, there's a pre-approval meeting,
I'm not going to say a napkin, but
Yeah.
a napkin drawing.
maybe a little bit,
Yeah, a
up
step
from
up
that.
from a napkin drawing.
yes. So, can we still say that the P and Z can look over a conceptual plan, or?
Only, I think only in those particular cases with the PUD and the
Okay.
zone change. Like, I think with the others, they need to have
I
the
think
actual.
subdivisions,
Absolutely.
anything that gets to, you know, you're looking at roads and sewer and water, you know. I mean, we don't do curb and gutter here, but I mean,
Well, it was just the conceptual site plan.
That you're
Instead
questioning?
of just saying site plan. So I guess this is just if somebody's planning on doing something forward, moving forward, this just is like, hey, we're thinking about doing that, and that's why it says conceptual site.
Yeah,
plan.
and I think the idea is like, they come in here, they
And it
talk
says-
to you in a conceptual capacity before they've spent, $100,000 on this giant plan set for us to be like, that is not gonna fly.
well, and it says notice prior to a public hearing, it says 30 days. So, I mean, it's way ahead. you know.
Yeah, yeah, okay. All right, so that makes sense. Let's see where my next number is, number 3, on page 12. Should we say, upon review, maybe, a proposed amendment can be adopted in municipal plan? Other residents of Alpine, upon review, applicants must complete, and follow information.
What number on you on A?
A, the first one, 3, A. So I'm wondering if should this just say upon review? A proposed amendment adopted community land use development contained. Master plan may be initiated, P and Z council. Yeah, upon review is what, I was just wondering if it should say upon review, Town of Alpine, figure 2-1. I was wondering if it should say, once so they can look at it or not. I don't know.
Proposed
Oh,
amendment to the adopted community land.
I didn't know she was laughing the way her eye crinkled. Oh, is she laughing at me?
No, this is my thinking face. It looks very similar. Take with the master plan may be an issue by.
If, it was just something I read, I didn't know.
Upon review of the town council, is that what you're saying? I guess?
Yeah, it looks, I just thought that it should have upon review somewhere within there.
May be initiated by the Alpine Planning and Zoning Commission, Alpine Town Council, or other residents of the town of Alpine.
So it's basically saying anybody can
Right,
initiate it.
exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you don't think we need that, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, I'm just asking.
No, keep going.
Okay, moving forward. Okay, page 14 at the very top, the zone, should this stay, here we go, the zoning administrator shall provide written notice, 500 feet of properties under consideration, written notice shall be included the date, yada, yada, yada. I'm wondering if we should put down at the cost of the landowner. Because of the fees, of the extra having to advertise.
And it
send out
doesn't say
all
that
this
anywhere
stuff.
else in there? Most of them do.
They
so.
do, most of them do say that, you are correct, but I did not see it on this particular one.
Okay, so if that's the case, we should definitely add that, I think.
Okay.
I mean, why not everybody else,
Yeah.
all of them do?
Okay. At the cost of the advertisement, okay.
Okay.
And then on, let's see, so there's, sorry, I'm working on it.
Oh, you're fine.
Don't worry. You got one of the bigger chapters.
Okay, page 22.
Oop, I'm moving.
It's the same one here. It doesn't say, it doesn't say have the cost.
And this is in variance? Mm-hmm. So, what number exactly?
I'm sorry, page 22, letter I, at the very top. No, above I. It's 21, variance process at the very end, it's number 3, H,
Okay.
number 3. Because it says it'll hold and receive 30 days, public notice, general circulation. I just didn't read where it said that they would pay for the extra.
Well, this is about the Alpine Board of Adjustments will hold one public meeting or hearing within the town of Alpine. Town residents and the general public will receive at least a 30 days notice of the public hearing. That's dished out, that's not by them, that's by us.
Right, and that's why I put down who pays for that as well.
That's us.
But all of the other ones, like special use, PUD, all the other stuff, we have changed the language to say that cost goes
Goes
back
to
to
the
them to
land, yeah.
recoup.
This one doesn't. That's-
Yeah.
That's,
And that's what you're saying, do we add that? Do we
Yeah,
make it
do
to
we
where
need
it's
that?
across the board?
Yeah, well, this one particularly as well. And there was another one, I think.
So I guess the other
Nope,
question would
that's
be, is there a fee that's already being charged that covers that?
So, but there is, but if there's, there was one subdivision where they had to come back and change something, and then we had to advertise it again, come back and change it.
Right,
and
right, right, how
advertise
many
again.
times do you?
Yeah, and so that cost was exponential considering what the actual stuff actually was happening with. So, I just wanted to make sure that we had our costs covered and we weren't going in the hole
It's definitely worth looking
exponentially
at
like we were
that,
before.
for
Yeah,
sure. Yeah.
that's why I was just thinking about that. And then I just had a note here, remind me again who's on the Board of Adjustments.
now, it would be the three of us and two people that the mayor has picked out.
Okay, and we have those guys in
I don't
Jeopardy
know
or
what-
Jeopardy?
I
Play?
don't know.
Sorry.
The mayor-
And I don't know,
The mayor said he wanted it to be the town council, but it's not a town council, it is part of our job.
Okay, so it's gonna be P.
I don't know if they've made those appointments or not.
And two
Well,
others.
they carried over, they carried. So somebody's already done that, and they carried him over. We had it a Board of Adjustments meeting last year.
Okay.
But then the mayor
We don't
said-
use it a whole lot.
Well, we were, but then the mayor said he wanted the council to do it, and the council were like, it's all in.
Right, there's already a process set up for it.
It's a
There's no
process
point
set
in
up for
changing it over to
it. I don't
them.
know where that's,
Okay, page 32. Letter T at the very top. T for top. Who pays for this? The zoning administrator will issue written notice of determination of applicant within 5 business days. The notice will indicate decisions made, appropriate conditions may accompany, yada, yada, yada. Who pays for it?
What section
just-
is
Oh,
it?
sorry, that is page
Minor.
32.
minor subdivision.
Minor subdivision.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, that is it needs to be in there.
I think, now, this may be on the fee schedule. I think it says that they pay for all those.
Okay,
Let me,
we'll just need to make sure, who pays, is it?
Well, but it should be in here. If it's on the.
if it's on the fee schedule, we should mirror it, you're right.
Oh,
It should-
okay,
It should be in here.
okay.
Because we don't have a fee schedule in this book.
Oh, okay, so that's probably why I have all these questions.
Very possible.
And so, teach me, what is rule number 12? Any appealed of decisions of Alpine Town Council may be reviewed by the district court pursuant to Rule 12?
That's a civil code, like a
I don't
Wyoming
know,
civil
I've never,
code.
I made a note to look it up, I'll look it up, but
So
I
did
just
you
didn't
see
know.
that when you first started, there is a graph that you talked there, and it says the appellate process, and it kind of goes through,
Oh,
here are things that you can do.
yeah.
So it says you can go from here to here to there to there.
Yep,
This is part of it.
okay. Well, I'll look up Rule 12 and I'll do the research. Oh, I don't have my highlighter, oh no. Oh, hey, whoa.
Okay, all right, you need to calm down.
Okay, I will look up Rule 12 and see if.
Who's dinging you?
That's, sorry, my bad.
Let's see here. I have to, okay.
Yeah, here. It goes, so you have a land use
That
permit,
is not,
Yeah,
information accompanying the application, you go to the public hearing,
yeah.
notice of the proper hearing, decision process, planning and zoning commission make recommendation to town council. If it doesn't pass,
they go to district court.
And is that Rule 12 is district court?
That's kind of it.
It's kind of it, or it is it?
That's kind of the way it goes.
Okay. So basically what you're gonna tell me when I look this up, it's gonna be a lot of legal mumbo jumbo and I'm gonna ask you more
There's a
questions.
process.
I think it's a state statute thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll double check that then. Okay, not that I don't believe you. Okay, number 9 is gonna be page 33. Number 10, it's gonna be under major subdivision review and approval process. So it's number 10, it says vehicle circulation plan? I mean, I make an assumption that that's just how the vehicles go into the subdivisions,
It's
but,
into a parking lot.
yeah, is that what the vehicle
That's,
circulation
yeah, so
is?
you go in, you got an ingress and you got an exit.
So that's what I kinda made the assumption was, but, I mean, apparently y'all are churching it up.
And it's in, if you go down farther, there are plans drawn.
Yeah.
It's got it in there.
Okay. I just had not heard of it called a vehicle circulation plan.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a technical term or what.
Okay.
It could be a Christine term. But I mean, now
Well-
you're into major subdivisions.
Now it makes me wonder, is there a definition for that?
I didn't see
Circulation
one.
plan is, well, I mean,
Is it fairly common?
in my profession, yes.
Okay.
But I understand not
Oh,
to be using a landscape architect for
No wonder
this.
why you were like, oh, you
Okay.
crazy
Yeah.
lady.
What else you got?
Hang on, Dan. We're gonna double check to make sure there's not a vehicle circulation plan in the back of the definitions, just to make sure.
It's not, it's
I didn't-
in
just
part-
double
it's-
checking.
It's not, it's in 6.
I'm just looking under definition. No, there's not one in the definition now.
Okay.
Okay. Page 34. Let's see here, do we, yes, ma'am,
I
please go
hate
ahead.
to interrupt, but
Nope.
let's go back to this just for a minute. So like,
Yes,
in
ma'am.
variance specifically, it says, person requesting variance shall pay for advertising separately, person rezoned to pay for
Okay.
advertising separately. So, yeah, it probably makes
Should we-
sense to add it into the
Yeah, so
LUDC.
pending, pursuant to the fee schedule,
Yeah, I was
as lined out with the plans or.
Yeah, or
the
just say,
permit?
according to the fee schedule, they'll be paid according to fee schedule, because then we
Yeah,
can
maybe
update
reference
the
it.
fee
Yes.
schedule.
That's a great
Yeah.
idea. Yeah, and let's just, and that way we're just covered on that. That'll be
Yeah.
perfect. Oh, Allison's pantry. Sorry. Okay. All right, page 34, what do I have here? On letter I, what's that for? That's for the major subdivision review and approval process, Ms. Gina? A public hearing be during, let's see here. Oh, do we need to put a time limit on it, or just do it at the meeting, is what I have written down?
Public hearing.
During the public hearing, applicant be brief overview. Oh, like, you know, like at the town council meeting, they do, like, we have 20 minutes, everybody gets 3 minutes, whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we should do something like that. Generally, we don't have to deal with stuff like that to to where it's going on and on and on and on. But sometimes
I
it
could,
does.
I could see something like that happening with the school, you know,
Yeah,
like,
yes.
if that's gonna move forward, like,
Yep.
so.
So it's funny you bring this up, because I was actually talking today about maybe revamping our agenda a little bit and making it work better for us. And do we add a public comment section and put a time limit on
We
it?
do have one on there. We have one at the end
We
of
have
the
a
meeting.
discussion, right? I don't think we have a public comment.
We usually ask, so yeah, you're
Yeah.
more than welcome to put it on there, but
Right.
we usually
Yeah.
ask, is there anything, and usually, there's only one.
And then the
lady
problem
here.
is, if we're gonna limit it, I don't, we have to make sure that it's in a procedure somewhere, right? Like, we adopt it. I know it's stupid. I know
No,
it
you're
sounds dumb,
fine, I
But
get it.
it is definitely something to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just didn't know if maybe we should do a timeline, a time frame on it,
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't know.
No, I hear what you're
Robert's
saying.
rules.
Look at the Roberts rules and
Yeah.
see what they say.
I've got that book at home.
Yeah, I was looking at it today. No, but I think that is something, because right now it's not been an issue.
No,
But-
it's only been a few times we've had.
Pat, you
meetings
got
on-
something to say?
Would you like to go on for 30 minutes?
Okay, I'll make a note
I'm
here
gonna
to
put that on my page.
look at Roberts. Okay,
No, what was that last page?
okay,
Page 21.
what's that, I'm sorry?
Wow, I can't read my own handwriting. It's fine. I'll get it.
Okay,
I'm just slow.
and then the next one is just, once again, who pays? On page 3511, letter U, we just didn't specifically say the fee schedule, reference that
letter?
again. Letter U on page 35, on the very bottom.
Okay.
Okay. 12. Okay.
That's all you had?
No,
Oh, I
I
was
had
like,
more.
I
No,
was like, dang.
I mean, I only have like 5 or 6 more.
Okay,
And they're just little notes.
You're like, that's it.
Let's see here. So so letter B, 2-208 special use permit. Each
I think,
authorized, sorry,
What page?
About 36.
page 36. Yes,
Okay,
ma'am. Sorry.
perfect. I'm on there. That's fine.
Each authorized special use permit will apply to a specific use or structure will terminate upon future changes in land ownership. So will the new landowner, will he not get a permit unless the work was not completed, okay, before the sale? New owner, will he not get another permit unless the work was not completed before the sale? So let's say, okay, Dr. Linford, we'll just use him as an example. So we're gonna use him, he's gonna do the special use permit, and all of a sudden, a new dentist comes into town and says, I'm gonna offer you $5 million for your practice and your property. I'll short sell, buy it in 2 days. And so with him already having this special use permit in order, would that just null and void completely, even if the
Yes.
work's not done?
Yes,
kinda
unless in
sucks.
the special use permit, there is a option to make this
Retro.
a
In perpetuity.
Yeah, perpetuity, thank you, that was the word I was looking for. And so you can say, this is going to be, I want this forever. Or you say, I need this for 2 years, or whatever it is, because the reason we did that is because each special use is so unique that it doesn't make sense to be like, yes, we just did this to cover our bases, right? But you would definitely ask for it to be a long-term situation.
So so Dr. Linford did this and he sold it after he got everything all done.
In the
Would the
special
new
use permit-
person have to do another one?
If he said, this is gonna be forever, until we rip it out and we're done with this,
Right.
it's forever, then the new person would not. Now, if they said, as long as I own it, or for 2 years, this is what it's gonna be, if he sells it, then it goes away.
Okay,
That makes
but then the new person wouldn't have to dick with it
Once he
because,
excavates and tears it down.
If he tears it down,
that
yeah.
special use is
Gone.
Goes away, yeah. Once you change what the special use permit was for, or you sell it, unless you've asked for it to be forever, then it's gone. They have to, if they wanna use it again, then they have to come in and do a whole new special use permit.
okay.
Because let's think about it, like, say we say it's fine to do for now, and the whole landscape of Alpine changes in 10 years, he sells the property, and we're like, this is not working.
Yeah,
We need
then
to
he
have
has
that.
live,
Yeah.
live up to the new land use development code.
Right,
Yeah.
it makes it easier for us to go and say, now you have to comply with this.
Yeah, that makes sense. I just wanted to make
Yeah.
sure I was reading that
Yeah.
correctly.
next.
Hang on, I gotta adjust my notes.
You're just in your notes, man.
I had questions I had to answer.
You're doing a great job.
Let's see here.
I can't wait till it's Dan's turn.
I know.
I got some. But not this month.
Oh, well, and I just had to double check on page 37, number 9, on letter section C, number 9. Double check with the new language, to make sure that we had all of the permits in there. Let's see here. I just made a random note on that. I didn't really make a note. Special,
3 sets. Well, we're not doing
Scale.
3 sets, but you see the underlined word there that says scaled?
all construction drawings for structure.
I do. I'm a very big fan of that.
That is a very
Yeah.
important piece when it comes to civil drawings.
Okay. But that language is all good. Does that look like it reads well?
So it's funny you bring that up, because that is that's one of the things I adjusted in this new one.
Oh, is that why? I couldn't.
I have a million tabs open at this point, so I'm not really 100%
Oh, yeah,
sure
you're
where
on
it's
your
at.
Here's your 300 square feet.
Yeah. That comes in later on too. I have another question on that, but we're close to it. It's okay.
I don't know where all my things went. Curses, I swear.
All right.
Hang on. Gina's looking something up.
No.
So I guess I want to specifically understand, well, what your
You
question?
make the same noise when you're telling me to
Figure out
shake
whether
forward.
all of there encompass all the actual, like, is that list inclusive of
As well as
everything?
electrical plumbing, radon, HVAC systems.
Yeah, does it match with our new language? That's what I had written down.
Which part of that?
I just have a general note, double check with Gina that this matches with the new language.
Number 9?
Yeah.
The new language of what, though?
With the things that were changed with that, the land use, or the
So-
town council that you were working
The
on.
only thing I changed on that is just the 3 to 2.
Okay.
That is
okay,
it.
Okay. Okay. All right, that's it.
Does
Not,
that
that's not it, but that's it for that.
Right, right. I did not need 3
Okay.
drawings.
So did you see this right here? Submitted, all civil engineered site plans are required for multi-unit residential R2, including additions or remodels to existing structures.
Oh, 13, shit.
That would
Why
be,
does that only say R2, MRC, CLI? Do you not want those, do you
Not
want
for
those
R1.
for R1? No? Okay.
No, because we want to encourage, from what I'm understanding, if I understand correctly, we want to encourage single-family homes to be built here. And it makes it a little bit easier so that somebody doesn't have to pay an extra 12 to 20 grand for civil drawings to
Let me throw
hook up
something out.
a single-family
I
household.
completely understand where you're coming from. I think there should be language in there that says, can be requested because there are gonna be those crazy sites
yep,
that it's just weird. So it's not a requirement, but we can't request it.
Yeah.
And I say this because of a very specific situation that happened up on Star Valley Ranch and here, right? Now granted, this is an R2 or whatever, so that's not the issue. But like at a single-family home we had, where we did not require that, they give you this 2D site plan, and it looks, everything was great. Next thing you know, he's got 30-foot of fill dirt up there with a slope like this, and the footings are 1 foot from the edge, and we're like, whoa, buddy, you know? None of, that could have been, we had the language that says you have to have a civil site plan upon request, right? So now we're gonna go back and say, not only do you have to have the civil site plan, now you have to tell us that you're putting that filter there and it's done properly, it's compacted properly, and all that stuff. It's a rarer situation, but it's something to think about.
it can happen,
It can happen.
yeah. And I think that's the bet, right? We're trying to cover our ass for, I'm sorry, we're trying to cover the town's ass for all the crazy stuff that can happen.
Yeah, and I don't, like I say, I think it's probably 1 in 250 cases, right? Where you can say, oh my gosh, I know that site, and it's a very steep building site, so how are you going to account for that? We probably need to take this into consideration. I don't think it's gonna happen a lot, but without that language, we don't have the right to request it.
I think it's worth adding that in there, because you're not saying you have to do it, but.
But whose discretion? Let's put it that way.
That
Not-
would be hers.
So I'd say planning and zoning, I'd say the whole board, the whole commission.
It's just, it's so expensive to have.
Oh, I
a civil
agree.
site drawn up.
But it's also expensive to build on a site that's not properly done.
Yeah, oh, that's true, that's true.
You'll spend-
Yeah, you're
you'll
right,
spend-
you're right there.
You would
I'm
spend
working on
far
that.
less money on a civil set for an obscure site to do it correctly than you would if you did it wrong and had to rip it out, and start over.
Yeah, or your house falls, or whatever stupid thing happens,
So,
Walgreens.
I think it's a smart adder.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, because it's definitely not something that we are, I would hope that people on the commission are going to use this discretionary, right? Like, we're not gonna just throw this out at every guy that comes in,
Yeah.
you know? Maybe
I-
we put
I
parameters
agree.
around it, if it's more than XYZ slope.
No,
or
and
if
I
it's something.
agree. I think you're absolutely correct. It's just, I just think about like where my husband and I were when we first started out and trying to build our house, and
Oh, I
we
agree.
barely were able to afford the house we got. And if we had to fork over an extra,
5 grand, 10 grand, whatever.
Well,
20 grand in for site
but it's
plan.
changed, you know, like the codes have changed, like civil and retaining walls on crazy sites, and it's
No, that makes
changed to
sense.
the point where it's
it has to be. I
gone
mean, we all
so
remember
far beyond
Walgreens.
even what I thought we would build.
And I don't know that we have to have an answer for this tonight, it's something to think
Yeah.
about.
No,
Like, so
you're
think
right.
about, like,
I
do we
just-
say,
just is so damn much money to do this crap.
So do you say, yes, we have the right to request it regardless, or is there parameters where it says we can request it if the site is this, or the site's that, or whatever, whatever those
Yeah.
parameters are?
And I agree
I don't
with
think,
you.
I don't think you put parameters on it because I think there could end up being a situation that you didn't imagine would ever happen, and it's not included in the
Yeah,
parameters.
that's
I don't
So,
disagree.
yeah, if we're already doing it by request, then,
It's that
yeah.
one
Yeah,
off the wall
exactly,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, this probably, maybe will never come
that's
up in
a
any
good
of our
idea.
lifetime, but it might.
Yeah.
It might, and that's what half of the reason why half this crap is in here now is because it
Right.
might come up, and oh wait, it
And,
did.
and Mo, I totally see where you're coming from. You feel like it just
It's-
muddies the waters,
That's
but
what happens, you know, unfortunately, so much of,
Where do you want to put that, Gina?
well, that's a great question. I mean, I just think that we add a section that says,
A, B,
for, yeah,
Yeah.
like BR2
yeah.
For
can
which
be.
section are you at? There's this.
Oh, we're on 3810A, just add like a B or something.
Yeah. I
It
would
says
put-
on R1, it can be requested upon
Yeah.
planning and zoning, like discretion or
Yeah.
evaluation, something to that effect. We'll have to workshop the words, but. Trust me, I would have never thought this would have come up in a million years until I actually had to deal with it, and it turned into a nightmare.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I get it.
It was like a 2-year ongoing thing, so.
Let's see here. 12:50. Let's see here. So. Trying to cost be directly opposed to client and any other. Process, did that. On number 15, sorry, I'm almost there.
You're okay.
I've got to read the other.
I mean, honestly, we're still doing good. It's not even 9.
I'm almost done. I'm almost done. I think, okay, so on page 44, so I think there's a small typo on page 44 and then the affidavit process. It says here 300 square feet, and then if you look at the flow chart on the next page, it says 200 instead of under 300 for the,
It says decks,
Under.
houses under 300 and decks under
I
200.
have
Yeah.
300.
and it says 300 on
Yeah.
page 44. So I think that's just a
Section 3.
small typo.
Any decks under 200, is that where you're?
Yeah, I
Should-
think the
yeah, it
decks
should
are
be
supposed to be.
300.
I didn't,
I think it does actually, I think we stipulated 200 square feet, so I think that actually, I think 3 needs to be changed to 200.
yeah, so the sheds have always been
300, yes.
And decks, I thought have always been 200. I could be wrong,
Yeah,
because
I believe that they're two different things there, that's how I understood it.
I thought so too.
If there's a way that you wanna word that differently.
But one, they need to match whatever.
Construction of freestanding decks. So now remember, this was that conversation that we had, that I'm not gonna get stamped plans because I wanna replace my little 2-step little deck that comes out of my porch.
That's why we went to below 30 inches, because 30
Yep.
inches is code requirement for a handrail.
Right, and I thought we changed that to 300 square foot and not 2.
And maybe that is the case, maybe you changed it to 300 on number
On the
3,
deck.
and it didn't get changed on the flow chart.
Okay,
So whatever you guys agree upon, I'm fine with.
See, and they made changes,
After
they made
the fact.
changes after the rating, they
Yeah.
made changes.
And that's, like I said, whatever you guys want to put in there,
It's-
I'll fix.
I think
don't
it's
care.
fine just the way it is.
Well, you can't have one say
Well,
200 and one say 300.
It's good.
Because they're two different things.
No. What she's saying
If
is,
the flow chart is different than what.
right.
it says 300 on the other page. Flip your page.
It says 300 on both 2 and 3 on page 44, but on the flow chart it says 300 and 200.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. This should be the thing that gets moved
No,
to 200.
no,
See, that's the question.
no, the flow chart needs to be changed to 300. I don't agree with that.
What, well, a construction of a
Because we're gonna have that
freestanding deck
discussion all over
equal or under 300 square feet with a height of less than 30 inches,
Yep.
okay? So should this then say decks 300 and under, what is it?
That's,
Under 300 square
Yeah.
foot.
The question
instead
is
of
whether
under
we want to have them be reviewed, whether they're under 200 or under 300.
All right,
Yeah.
okay,
300.
okay, under 300.
You're saying 300, okay, I
Yes.
love it. Let's
All
do
right.
that.
Okay, I got it.
Okay.
We just have to agree, I don't care what it is.
One.
Thank
let's
you.
see
How am I
here.
doing?
So far,
Great,
good.
Dan, you're great.
16. Okay, so page 46, letter G. Any inspections need to be repeated by the building inspector official, yada, yada, yada. But should we have that also be said that there will be no, I believe this is in fact already the case, but a CO should not be issued until the fees are all paid. Fees and fines are paid.
There is a whole section about fees,
Yes.
and I think it mentions it in the fees.
Okay,
So
I
I
just
can look at
wanted to
that.
make sure that that was actually noted in there and see if that needed to be. Okay,
Isn't that in chapter 1? No, it's not, it's down here, in appeals and enforcement.
So I'm gonna look at that, I think, page 46, okay. I remember reading in there that it says that, but.
I thought it did too, but I didn't know if it should be something in this,
Yeah, yeah.
this section as well.
And I'm gonna, and I know where you're going with this, but I will say having, I feel like anytime you can just reference something else.
Yeah.
It
Makes
makes
sense.
sense instead of repeating it.
Totally
So if
makes
it's in
sense.
there, maybe we just reference it.
I
don't know.
agree.
Because I hate repeating it, like,
It gives
one
you
of the
more
things
There's a lot
opportunity
of
to mess
copy
it
and
up, like
paste,
what
yeah.
just happened with the deck thing.
it convolutes
Right,
it, it's repeated, you get a bigger chance of
If you
making a
wanna
mistake.
reference it, I'm good with
Okay.
that too, sis, especially if we have the note, the actual, the statute, all that good jazz, the number, whatever.
Yeah, it says
Section
blah, blah, blah,
14.5,
section 403, A, whatever it is, yeah.
5-5928. One last thing. Oh,
Doesn't
sorry.
it say that on the building, on the application?
That's what she was.
Yeah, I think it says on the application, I think it says it on the inspection checklist.
I thought it did
For
too.
sure, so yeah, so I just think that we just reference that. But
Okay.
we need to reference the actual one in ordinance, because the problem is, even if it's on the application and it's on the inspection checklist, that's not law per se, I mean, there's wiggle room there, so if we can reference it to another LUDC, that makes more sense.
I agree. Yeah, as long as we just have a reference, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Last thing, page 47, on the issuance of certificate of occupancy, same thing,
Okay,
and fees paid. Fees, we should probably say fees and fines. Fees and or fines, because not everybody's gonna get a fine.
okay.
Well, we could make sure you can.
She's gonna get that money. Mo's about the money.
She's trying to keep her money.
Yeah. Okay, that's all I've got for my section 2.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
I did have a small question on section 3, but I assume we're not going on those
Well-
ones next.
I think, is that,
We can do those.
Rachel, you
I
doing?
say, I had looked at section 3. I really only had one thing that kind of left out of me that I had wanted to ask about, which was here. I mean, it's really just more of like, can we add some clarifying language on page 53, section 3201A. It just says permitted land uses are also subject to various requirements such as type of allowable structure, setbacks, blah, blah, blah. But we don't, I think it'd be helpful to say as seen in part 4 or something like that, so that people know where to look for that, rather than just kind
Oh,
of like
that's a good idea.
arbitrarily saying fence requirements.
Okay, so reference that section.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, otherwise, nothing crazy jumped out at me.
And then I found I think it was just another little typo like we were talking about before. Pardon me, page 78. Letter G, number 2. So I think on the, let's see here, 200 square feet, have setback of not less than 5, sideline property line, detached accessory buildings with total square footage over 200 square feet. I think that should be 300 square feet.
Oh,
Have setback of 15. Yeah, I think that should be 3 for the secondary building. I believe, is that not correct? I don't know for sure though.
Say that again?
Because it says, side yards, 15 detached accessory building structures equal to 200 square feet can have a setback of not less than 5 feet from the side of the property lines. Detached accessory building structures with a total square footage of over 200 square feet will have a setback of not less than 15 feet.
Correct.
So actually,
like
that should be,
Alpine Meadows has,
200.
if you have something that's less than 300, it is
right, but
10 feet.
should that say 300 though?
Right, what she's saying is like, because we're not gonna require permits for anything under 300, so
Right.
do we just say that anything under 300 is also got the same exemptions for setbacks?
Yeah, because I believe it does on the rest
Well,
of it.
So, I mean, there are, if you choose to go to 10 feet, then that's congruent with the subdivisions that are in our community.
Well, to be honest with you, and there's no disrespect to the subdivisions in the
Right.
community, it doesn't matter what they've got, this is what our rules are, right?
I understand that, but that's where the incongruence is. That's,
Okay.
and it has been, because
That the town's requiring more than the subdivisions are
Correct.
requiring.
Well, that's the joys of living in a subdivision.
it's up to you guys. I really don't care.
Oh, I don't
Well, no,
know.
it's actually that the subdivision's more lenient
I-
than
Oh,
the
I
town,
see.
what you're saying.
Okay.
So I guess,
Yes.
I think that was arbitrarily decided because they didn't want these giant structures in the setback. I don't think it had really anything to do with what's requiring a permit.
Okay.
I don't know that I completely disagree that it makes sense to have it say the same, but I also don't have a strong opinion one way or the other, so.
Okay.
I mean, I thought about it when I found it, and I kinda went, well, if it's a shed, it's a small,
It's a small
look
shed.
at it, it's 10 by 30 is, that seems a little large, but,
Yeah.
if it was under 200 square feet, it's a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
that's where I think the size does matter.
Right. We're not telling you you have to permit that between 200 and 300, but we're just saying it can't go in the setback.
So,
What's your thought, Mo?
I just, whatever, I don't know. It just didn't look quite right, and so I didn't know if it should be 300 instead of 200, so that's all.
Like I say, I have no strong opinions one way.
Yeah, and I mean, it's also
I
listed.
think you have to change it in the permitting sheet too.
Oh, no, it's fine. That's fine.
I think it's in the shed affidavit that you'd probably
Yes.
need that,
Okay,
but I will make a note of that, so.
and that's all I
All right.
had for that one.
Okay. I did 4. The only thing, there are a couple things that I wanted to note, for everybody. Page 102, section 4504, multi-unit residential building. Section B, floor area. Floor area shall be measured from the foundation walls. No portion of concrete posts and or piers shall be allowed in the established setback area. That means that if you're gonna do a retaining wall, none of its footer and none of its wall can be in the setback area.
Okay, do you wanna know, I totally agree. What I think is almost a better way of handling this situation is saying no structures in the setbacks and then defining retaining wall as a structure.
Yeah, and man, we did talk about that last time we did it. It's like, well, how many, bless you.
Excuse me, thank
How
you.
many things do you have to put down for structure? Because, well, it's not really a structure.
Well, anything permanently affixed to the ground, in my case, is a structure. In fact, like a fence that's put in with concrete, that's a
Yeah,
structure.
so it was like no post, no, it was landscaping. That was the intent. So when we go across the street, it's
Right.
like, where do we stop excavating?
Well, that's all, like, excavation's a whole nother ballgame. Like, do we add a whole section about excavation saying you can't do
But
X, Y, and Z?
that's where we're gonna talk about that right here, right now, because it needs to be right here.
Right, does it need to be in
needs
here?
to-
Exactly,
It
yeah.
needs to be in this.
Do we add a whole section for that? Do we require an excavation plan?
Well, it's like,
You said that's part of the civil sat. I don't know that.
so, here's your building envelope. Okay? That's what you get to dig in.
Right,
Do you have to say anything else?
But what is your definition of the building envelope?
So it is your setbacks
Mm-hmm.
gives you an area. That's your building envelope.
Okay.
That's actually a definition.
Okay, then we can just say nothing outside
Okay.
of the building envelope, right?
So no excavation outside the building envelope.
Structures, anything but landscaping. Well, you can't say anything but landscaping.
Sewer, water, electric, plumbing,
Yeah,
you know, that kind of stuff.
So building envelope, the building envelope includes all the building components that separate the indoors from the outdoors as to the perimeter of the building itself, specific to placement of structure on lot with setback parameters and lot lines.
So the building envelope is within the setback.
Correct. So that's your building envelope. There'll be no extra excavation in a setback other than power, water, sewer, cable TV,
Utilities, essentially.
or utilities.
What
Thank
about-
you very much.
What about regrading?
And see, that's where it gets into, you know,
Yeah, see, that's what I was saying about over there.
Are
Like,
you-
what do you consider that?
see, that's not regrading, that is,
Excavation.
that's stealing that, because to get that to be a safe site, he went to his property line and went through the setback and excavated it all.
Well-
We didn't have an excavation plan, so I totally understand where you're going.
So
But
he,
that's, in my world, it's always been, your civil is your excavation plan.
so hang on, and
Go
let me
ahead.
ask you a real quick question here. So he went in within, all the way to his property line when he was digging. Is that what the concern is?
Correct.
And that's the problem? That he went all the way to his property
Well,
line?
it's one of the problems.
One of-
Okay, well,
Yeah.
just for this
Argument.
conversation, it's just because he went all the way to his property line.
Correct.
I see, why, okay, so why is that a problem for him to go, because to be honest with you, if I had to have a concrete foundation put in, and, it was safer for the workers coming on my property to do the job, if they needed to excavate it all the way to my property line, because, and then when it gets built, it's gonna be backfilled and back to original, I don't see any problem with
His
that.
plans never showed that.
Well, you
His
should,
plans need to show that. That's
your
a
plans need
proper-
to show that
is
you
a
have
proper
to,
civil set.
so you're telling me that your plans have to show, your overdig for your, for putting in a foundation?
Every
Well, so-
time.
On a normal, like, civil set, what you would see is usually a line is called limits of disturbance.
Yeah, oh, that makes
That's-
sense, yeah.
Yeah, and so that maybe isn't inclusive, like, you might be like, okay, here's limits of disturbance, your building's actually like this within it, but it's supposed to encompass things you need, like construction access.
Yeah, if you're
and
dumping
things.
your
So
piles
it's
of
really-
dirt, so
So
it
yeah, a
stays on
normal
the
civil
property.
plan will kind, like this shows grading, will kind of show that to be like, everything outside of this, we're not touching, they'll put a fence up to
Yep.
prevent them from,
Yep.
you know, going with that, so I think
Well, and I think
that's
part of the
kind
concern is
good.
destabilization of a surrounding property.
100%, that makes
Right,
sense.
I think that's
That,
the
that's a
main
very
concern, right?
safely, that's a very valid concern, yes, absolutely.
So if we were doing that project in Jackson, the concrete wall that would have to be built to retain that cut,
Mhm.
the footer would be another 15 feet underneath the soil.
So, but the thing is, they're trying to, and this is just for argument's sake, they're trying to use the footings, the foundation of the building
Correct.
as part of that
Correct.
retaining structure,
If-
right? And then they're backfilling here, and then they're still gonna have a cut where they have a retaining wall. So that's where I distinguish it in
Yeah,
my
see,
head, but,
I don't see that. That's the problem with not having the drawings
Mm-hmm.
and not having a revised civil set.
I seem to recall that we talked about this with him as well, and that, we told him that, because we had this concern as well, and I seem to recall that he had a set of plans that showed the engineer plan of the retaining wall, because that's what we requested of him.
No,
not really.
No, it was
It was very vague.
it was a small little block thing.
So Dan and Rachel might be able to speak to this a little better. So if there are certain parameters and requirements for a civil set that are standard and we're not getting them, then we need to reject it. Or do we have to say, this is what we want in our civil
I think
set?
that's the
That's the
latter.
question.
I think that's the latter.
Do we want the areas of disturbance? Do we want the excavation plan? Do we want to specify that the areas of disturbance and excavation can't be in the setbacks? do we need to specify those certain things? Because a civil set, is it so vague that people just don't know what we're asking for?
I think,
Yeah,
I think by leaving it vague, you would give people the opportunity to not provide the information.
Right.
You know, like, again, hate to like be like in Jackson is how they do it, but they have, you know, a grading and erosion control permit that they go through if you're doing new construction, and it has a whole checklist they give you where they're like, we wanna see existing contours, proposed contours, this, that. So they give you that information, so you can't really get away with being like, oh, well, you didn't say you needed it. Then,
Okay.
You know.
Absolutely, I can see that. Now, that being said, if I wanna dig all the way to the edge of my property because I'm putting something on my property, I believe it's my right as a landowner to dig to the edge of my property and put
As long
something
as you're
in.
doing it safely.
And then you can put the dirt right back in where it needs
As long
to
as
be.
you're doing it safely.
Yeah.
And I think that's fine. If we say that, that's fine. But
I'm not
what Dan was
using
talking
that
about
as
is
an
the
example,
concern
just
was,
in general.
is this being done safely?
Yeah.
Is it supporting this? Is it to the point where it's
No,
not gonna
that
fall
is a
in?
concern. I can
Yeah.
understand that.
So it's like, do we allow them to go to the property line as long as they're doing it in a safe manner and they provide that to us, or do we not? Right?
I mean, he said he had OSHA and them show up at the job site and walk through it with him.
Well, it's, all of these things, words and a little letter, don't mean a hill of beans to me until I see a plan. So I can analyze it and I can say, because I can run my calculator and I can do engineering qualifications. I can do that math. I have to do it every day because I have to double check people. I believe that your ask is probably proper, is we need to see some of the things that you're accustomed to and what I'm accustomed to, that there is more to a civil set, that it might not just be one page, but you might have to provide 3 or 4 pages of what it's starting with.
I call it the topography. It's probably not the right word for it. but-
Topography, yes.
Contours.
Contour
Yeah.
lines, and that a GIS map, you know, when we say get it surveyed, it means go out there and actually physically go get it surveyed. Because I think that was the issue with the plans that I saw, was that the contours that they were saying
Yeah.
didn't relate to anything.
They were off the GIS, which literally says it could be within 10 feet.
Right.
Which is
Get
not.
it surveyed.
That does
Yeah.
not help.
No, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
So how do we regulate that? And I think that this is a great discussion. I think adding some qualifiers, here's what we're gonna require out of your site plan.
Yeah, this is our civil set, and this is what we are looking for
Correct.
specifically in our civil set.
Correct. And if you're gonna do a project, if you're gonna do a subdivision, a minor subdivision, if you're gonna do something like that, the affordability to have that is built into that project. It's not like, oh my God, it's too hard.
Yeah.
No.
Now, if it was Joe homeowner, I could understand that's probably a cost that's a lot. But when we're talking about commercial, multi-residential,
MRC,
yeah,
Townhomes, I know.
yeah, we're talking like, this is a cost that they should be able to
Man.
absorb or they shouldn't be doing.
Right, exactly.
I mean, our town has always been functional. We've always been fairly easy to deal with, so to speak. Like, we've not ever required to have somebody have an excavation plan and what did you?
A grading and erosion.
Grading,
control.
erosion
Yeah.
control. And, or there was one gal a while ago that wanted a weed-free to come into our wonderful little town here too. So I just get concerned that if that's where our town is gonna start going, that we're gonna start going down, is gonna make it more of a challenge.
So I'm gonna throw something out here. When you're looking at Riverview Meadows, we don't have to worry about contours and all that stuff, right? Now, when we're talking about up on the hill,
Yeah.
we do.
Yes.
So maybe it's
I'll
a
include the certain
overlay,
subdivisions.
maybe it's
That's okay.
this area.
I can get on board with that. That
We
makes more sense
require
to me.
X, Y, and Z.
That makes more sense to me, because somebody who's on
Well,
a
if you-
flat level area with just like a little
If you
2%.
say that the grade varies more than 4%,
Yeah, then it doesn't matter, then it,
Okay.
then it's
yeah.
a done deal.
Then I can get on board with that program. That's a great, thank you for thinking of a good workaround instead of just me.
It doesn't need to be a blanketed, yeah, yeah.
so
Yeah.
I appreciate
So
that,
that's
thank you.
that's a thought, yeah.
I think that's a really good
Well,
thought
and that's kind of what I was
process.
talking about with the excavation plan too. Like if the grade's more than 4%,
Correct.
then we have to have an excavation plan. If it's not, then we don't.
Sure.
So we
And
don't
if
have
you're
to
gonna
make
go
this.
deep, you're gonna go wide
You have to,
and then backfill it.
yeah,
The-
you have to.
The issue is without a soils test, without a soils engineer coming in and saying, this is what you're allowed to do here. We just let it to a civil engineer who could just say, yeah, just go ahead and cut it. There are way many more people who should be in the loop telling, it's the soils guys that tell the civil guys and the structural guys what you're gonna have to design for.
So is that called a grading permit? What is that called? What would that call?
It's part of the grading permit, it's civil set, grading permit, you know, it's all the same. But in,
And maybe we don't make a whole permit for it. Maybe we make a
Right.
grading plan. Like you
Yes.
need a grading
Yeah.
plan.
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't need to be a separate permit. It's like another hoop to jump through.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so it was, as I went through, it was, page 109.
Oh, you're moving on.
Page 109, floor area B was, was kind of the same thing. I had just no excavation in the setback.
Letter B, you said? No.
Yeah. And then it was page 112. And this is when we come to parking lots, we need to, and this is in grading, but paved vehicle parking shall contain a minimum pavement thickness of 2 inches and a minimum of 4-inch base. It should also be required that the compaction, there should be a compaction quotient in there, and I believe that it's supposed to be 1,200 pounds a foot.
You gonna have to have that,
That's why this whole lot got ripped up
are you,
and start over.
so are you wanting them to pay somebody to come down and do a compaction test as
Yeah.
well?
Well, you have to. It's commercial.
Okay.
well, isn't there's calculations you can do for certain material that you use for base, and it'll give you the compaction rate. Also.
Yeah, as long as they do
drag
it
that thing
correctly.
across it. It's like the asphalt thing.
And if they
Find out
put-
what they just drag it right across.
Okay.
And if they put too much material in there, you're not gonna get proper compaction,
Correct.
which happens.
Correct.
Or you don't excavate the topsoil out properly.
Right.
So that was,
Don't get down to like park
so,
ground or whatever they call
you
it.
know, it was just add the compaction data was what, and have the data submitted to planning and zoning.
So how much, so that being said, would you just want that in the parking areas? That you wouldn't want that in the foundation
No,
too?
no, no.
Just the
in
parking
Just
areas?
in the parking area.
Okay.
Now, smart contractors compact before they put their footers in.
Yeah, 100%.
Some guys don't,
Some guys do not. No, you are correct.
right? There was one, I had here in page 116, it says, guidelines for selection of luminaire. The lower E should be an F. You have an E up at the top, somebody,
Oh, there's two E's.
Yeah,
sorry.
that's
I
fine.
saw it.
Very minor.
I thought you meant the E in luminaire, and I was like, that's
Me
not
too.
I was like, that's not a word.
It's page
I literally-
116, girls.
I was
So
thinking the
I
exact
wasn't
same.
drinking when I saw that.
I'm like, what is he talking about?
Luminaire.
Other than that, this was a pretty easy
Glad we were on the same
chapter.
page.
So, that's.
Yeah, did you just volunteer for more work? You said it was an easy chapter.
Excuse me?
You just volunteered for more work. You said it
Well, I'm
was an
just saying,
easy
that was an easy chapter. We, I think 5, 6, and 7 will be a little bit more because there's more there, and I think we can all take some more, personally.
So
That's my opinion.
here's a question. Now we're going to try to do the workshop. Mo said she might have a little bit of a conflict with maybe the time on that. Other
Yeah,
one, but
I don't leave Jackson until 5:30.
I mean, I can make it.
we can do it later. I don't mind.
And I hate to take away more evenings away from what we're doing, but we are trying to put up a good fight, and we are trying
No,
to make our
I
town
agree.
better for later on, for future usage.
Well,
I
it's
have
gonna
to
make,
tell my husband this every time I come to the
it's
meetings.
gonna make our job easier in the long run, too.
Yeah, until next year, and we're like, oh, we better revisit it, we gotta do it
I
again.
think the hardest part is, and I don't mean this badly, but when I first got here, nobody knew this book.
I read it, yeah.
But nobody knew,
Nobody used it.
understood it,
Yeah.
right? And so I'm trying to put the, this is why it's in here kind of thing. Because I think it's important to the people who sit here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, I challenge myself to go look at a project and say, okay, what did they do wrong?
Yeah, what can we do better?
Right? And so you look at it and say, what needs to be in place so that doesn't happen?
So I guess my question is, we're coming to I think, this is my suggestion, if you guys think you can get these reviewed by the workshop, great.
Correct.
But I also think we gotta go a step further and say, these things that we've discussed, let's come back with some
Sure.
suggestions.
Sure. Yeah, we can do that.
Like, everybody puts a little bit of verbiage to it and say, this is what I think would make sense, and then we can settle on something, right?
For which part, I'm sorry?
Oh, so for the workshop part?
Yeah, no, I mean, which section, I'm sorry.
So the sections we just covered, the 1, 2, and 3, all the questions that we had, we come back and say, hey, this is what I think would make this better. Not
Oh,
just
okay, I see
questioning
what
it,
you're
let's take it a step further.
Okay,
and
so you want me to go back through all my notes and?
say, this is what I think should happen.
Okay.
Or like how I was said, you know,
Even
like,
though
I
we
think
already
should
did,
direct them to
okay.
section 4, like.
Right,
the-
absolutely.
okay.
Rewrite it and say, this is what I think it should look
Okay,
like.
all right.
It just takes it that extra step that, this is gonna be a little selfish. It's something that I don't have to do.
Yeah.
I can definitely work on it and do some suggestions. I can definitely make some suggestions, but I want it to be a group effort. I don't want to just be like, we're doing this.
Okay.
It looks
no
like
problem.
sections 5 and 6 are pretty short.
So,
So
yes,
I
maybe
think that's
we,
reasonable that we could look through them.
I'll take number 5.
You're gonna do 5?
Yeah, I'll do 5.
we do 6 and the other people
And when
do
are we gonna do the
appendices.
meeting though?
You said, what did you say your suggestion was, the 23rd? The Thursday, the 23rd?
No, Thursday, the 23rd is a Wednesday. I will not be available.
It was the
20
24th.
I will not be available the
Was it the
23rd.
Yeah,
or
the 24th was the day I wasn't available.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
31st was the day I was.
Oh, 31st, yeah, that's it, that's right.
31st is fine.
So who's gonna do part 6?
I'll do part 6.
All right, then, did we just do part 2?
Yes,
Yeah.
do you want to look at appendices and whatever, Dan? I know it's not a lot, but.
No, I can take the other stuff. Yeah. Appendix A and Appendix B.
Yeah.
All right, I'll do that.
Okay, and so the suggestion was the 31st. Mo, how are you on that?
That's fine, the 31st.
Dan, are you okay on the 31st?
Yeah, I can do that.
So we can move it to, you want to move it to 7? Do
We
just wanna
can
do
try
7?
6. I'll see if I can hitch a ride home with somebody. I'll be here as fast as I can. We'll do 6.
Okay, let me ask, is this something that you girls would think about maybe doing Zoom?
Doing what?
I think it's better in person.
Yeah, I think it's hard and,
All right,
I'm, the Zoom meetings are handy and they work really, really well and I
when you
dig 'em.
have to.
Yeah, but I think we get
Okay.
more out of it when we have face-to-face interaction.
too. I do too.
I agree.
Okay.
I mean,
So-
if you can't make it, that's one thing, but
Moving forward now, any planning and zoning correspondence?
No, just the emails
Oh,
we've
okay.
got. And
We
we
have a
got,
lot of emails.
we got some emails about having a Zoom meeting.
I didn't get that.
I did, I got one on our, here it is.
Look, you're
Let
trying
me-
to say I was drinking, I didn't remember that.
I got hold on, this is, and I thought it was due to, oh, maybe I deleted it. I did.
You didn't want to go to the Zoom meeting?
Because I was like, we just had this Mission Technology Solutions, and I was like, and they were talking about bad emails, and I was like, maybe that's a scammer?
That's a phishing email.
Yeah.
Phishing thing? All right.
Hey, can we go back real quick, Mo? I think we missed B on number 5.
Oh, the site plan
Yeah.
review? Is that, no, this is short-term application.
I did, that's the one I'd sent to you guys a long time ago.
I used it today.
See, as I
Yeah.
say, Rachel referenced it today.
Yeah.
Is this something that we feel like is useful?
Yeah, if I
I
remembered we
found it.
used
You
it.
know what, I think it
I
would be,
totally
and I think we
forgot.
can add to it now that we're thinking about
Yeah.
doing more
And
on
you
the
sent
civil
that-
set.
It's been a long time, Mo.
Will you resend that to me? Okay. I'll go through it, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and now that we can add to it, I think it's gonna be a living document. I think we're always gonna need to change it and update it. But I think it standardizes and streamlines the process for review, right?
Okay.
And it kind of takes away I'm looking at all the things I probably shouldn't be looking at. I'm not saying that you guys are doing anything wrong, but like, let's make it as efficient and streamlined as possible and consistent, right?
Okay.
And I'm open to any suggestions or changes, but I do think it's something that if we have this in every single one and every single person's done it, we can say, this is why. What we can do is we can go past 1, 2, 3, 4, and 10 and say, we just need to address 7 and 8. This is the only person who had a question on 7 and nobody had a question on 8. Why are we talking about 8?
Gotcha.
Right?
Okay.
Let's make these efficient.
Yeah, if you'll resend
Okay.
that to me, boss, I'd appreciate that.
Okay.
All right, approval of minutes of June 10th?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of, March 10th?
June 10th.
June 10th, sorry. I don't know what I was just thinking about.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, town council assignment. The 10th,
18th,
Oh, sorry.
17th, 18th?
so actually, isn't it the 15th?
It's the 15th, yes.
Yeah.
So it's my customer appreciation day, so
Yep.
I might be a little late.
Yep.
So,
I'm coming for lunch.
perfect. It's a free lunch. All of our clients are welcome. And then some. Bring friends.
Who did it last time?
I think I did it.
I can do it this time.
Rachel can do it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay,
Dan, sit down. We're not done.
we're not done yet. But you're marking, we're not even in June yet there, sport. Good night. Town council, so I'll entertain a motion for number 10, Dan Scout.
Make a motion that we adjourn the meeting.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Now turn off your mic and go home.
Now you can run. Now you can run.
Yeah, you didn't mind, oh, I don't have the meeting minutes there, love, to sign.
Oh, I thought that's what I put in there.
I have
Thank you, ma'am, thanks for coming.
Were those the wrong ones, Mom?
Oh, I don't have anything to sign those, sweets.
Okay, I'll find
Oh,
it.
hey, she's got them.
Okay.
I only have one page.
So I cannot find my YouTube, so we're still on record for a second. Hold on, don't get too crazy. I
I'm
can't
not, well,
find
why
this
would I
one.
get crazy? I'm just telling you I need to sign paperwork. I'm gonna go find the hole punch. Yay! Yeah, it's always missing.
Found it. Finally found it.
All right,
Okay. Bye, bye, guys.
you guys have a great night.
You too.
Thanks for